Okay. So we are back, everybody. We are back. We are prepared. We are absolutely geared up for the awesome that is about to come. It is time for our final segment, everyone. It is time for the final segment of the main area of ArvCon 2026, hashtag ArvCon2026. This is our, as we always try to do or have for the last few years, the finishing session with the Damon Runyon Cancer Research Foundation scientists playing a TTRPG one-shot based on the Gumshoe system with GM Brandon O'Brien. I am very excited for this. But just before we do that, a quick reminder. We will be with you here for about the next 3 hours, and we have that long to make $750 for, there it is, that goal right there. We are at $4,750 out of $5,500. We are only $750 away. Remember, we have several more giveaways, and as we hit these various milestones, we will make those giveaways. Remember that the top donors are going to win things like the Dragonbane Core Rules Book from Free League, like the Catalyst Vikings board game and Super Camelot board games from Catalyst Game Labs, like the amazing picture that I've been showing off all weekend, brought to you by the amazing Prince Justin, and so on. So we're almost there, folks. We're at $4,750. That number you see on the Tiltify thing up there is $300 less than what we actually have because there was a challenge match of $300 yesterday that was met almost immediately, and so that challenge was done directly through Damon Runyon. I have the receipt for that, but it didn't go through the Tiltify link. So we actually have $4,750 here. So please, first of all, continue to bring people in. I've been really happy with the turnout for this all weekend. But secondly, please, if you are capable of doing it, and please do not feel pressure if you do not feel like you're in a position to do this right now. But if you are in a position to do it, please do donate to this cause. Please spread the word. Please let other people know and suggest that they do. Please share our Tiltify donation link so we can get the rest of the way there because we're really close. $750 away. We can absolutely do that. That's basically $250 an hour is what we're looking at. So we can absolutely make that. But please do support us by doing that donation if you're in a position to do so. No amount is too small, so don't feel like, oh, I have to donate $100, $200 to do anything. That's not true. Even small amounts make a big difference. And I also want to point out for all of the Team Chaos people, Team Chaos has not been quite visible to us right now. Team Chaos hasn't been doing the job because, as you can see, Team Order is currently winning the day. So if Chaos wants to get things rolling again, you know the score as far as Chaos is concerned. But otherwise, we are ready to go with our final segment. I'm very excited for it. So let's get her done, as they say. So I am going to unmute myself, and I'm going to apologize for anyone that I might have interrupted, like I said, because I couldn't hear you. And then I'm going to unmute them. And last but certainly not least, I like watching I totally agree. Watching the scientists play is always an awesome experience. I can't wait. And now, if I've done this properly, I'm going to head over to reveal to you. Aha! I have been replaced by the head of Brandon O'Brien, and the scientists have been replaced with the same thing. No, not with my head. That's silly, or Brandon O'Brien's head. But we have been replaced with where they're supposed to be properly in the area. And so it is my great pleasure to welcome scientists and Brandon to our final segment of ArvCon. 750 to go. Let us finish it up right. I'm going to shut up and allow Brandon to introduce everyone and get this game started. And thank you again, all four of you, for being part of this on this Monday afternoon. And Brandon, over to you.
Shut up is kind of harsh. This is your channel, but I'm very glad always to take over this channel from Greg. I'm very excited for the last session of ArvCon 2026. Thank you all for having me. I am Brandon O'Brien. I will be the GM for this final session, a one-shot session of Timewatch. One of the many very interesting Gumshoe RPGs by Pelgrane Press. I'm very excited to be able to run this with the scientists, who I think will be very clever and erudite and do very cool things for the next 3 hours. So without further ado, we should begin by asking these lovely scientists to please introduce themselves by telling all these lovely people who you are, where you do the cool science work that you do, and who you will be playing today. Starting with Royu Wang.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Roy Wang. I'm a postdoc in University of Chicago. I'm doing computational related research to advance cancer research. I'm very excited to be here to play with all of you. I'll play as Dr. Ling Chen, and the role will be a historian, and the drive is curiosity and duty.
Thank you. Next, Vivian Chu.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I am a researcher working in Yale University. I study how you get sick, and how your brain control your immune system. And my role is my profession is a double agent. My name is Arida, and the name was really come from the cells that on cuttlefish that will change the color when the animals want to hide in the environment. And so my drive is risk taker. So let's do the adventure together.
Thank you. And last but definitely not least, Leslie Day.
Hello, I'm Leslie. I'm a postdoc at Dartmouth College, so just a few hours north of Vivian. And I am a microbiologist, and I study the role of bacteria in the development and progression of cancer, specifically cancer oral squamous cell carcinomas. And I am going to be playing today as Sally Silverstein, and I am a gadgeteer, and I wore my most gadgeteer thematic earrings for the day to try and get into character. And my drive is a thrill seeker.
Grand. Thank you so very much. So this is a first experience for us all. I'm very excited to be running a session of Timewatch. Timewatch, for those who are not aware, is a time travel investigation RPG where our three wonderful players will be playing agents of what is essentially a secret time police that ensures that crimes against the timeline are rectified as quickly and as peacefully as possible. But we begin by meeting our three agents. In the rain, outside the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston, Massachusetts, on the early afternoon of March the 16th, 1990. They have been summoned by some of their superiors to be present essentially to over evidence gathering at the Gardner Museum on this day. It is very wet. It is very cold. It is dull and boring. Timewatch has this policy whenever they are doing immediate evidence gathering during a point of potential chronal instability, where they will do what is called a time lock on a specific location and period, where for like several blocks, everything is frozen in time except for Timewatch agents as they investigate whatever is the potential cause of this chronal instability, so they don't end up just walking past civilians having to explain why they're here in the first place. And this is solely for the purposes of trying to discover why Timewatch radar detectors at HQ determined that for 18 seconds, a large burst of chronal instability took place outside this building. And no one can determine who or what happened. So they sent some agents to actually get there and actually look around and see if they could see if there is any evidence of what was the actual goal here. Which is of note because this is 2 days before an actual historical event, which has been unsolved, and therefore there's reason to believe that the two are linked, but they can't actually find any connection to those things. And I will ask first, in fact, everybody has research, so I'm just going to give everybody this for free, which is the thing that you know when you get here is that the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum is going to be robbed in 2 days, and they're not going to solve that robbery. One of the most notorious heists ever to take place in history, several of the most renowned works of art that was stored at this gallery would be stolen by two men and never found again up to as of this present moment, are still totally missing. But you are here 2 days before that happened, and you don't know who was here and why it only took 18 seconds for them to be here. But it's the largest burst of chronal instability that Timewatch has ever noticed in such a short period of time. And they have been spending upwards of 3 hours in the rain trying to determine what could be the cause of this chronal instability. The three of you, however, are not here to investigate. They don't want you to touch anything. They don't want you to look at anything. They don't want you to be curious about anything. You notice that 3 high-ranking agents whose name you do not know are having a conversation with a superior that you are aware of. A man named, well, 2 officers that you are aware of. Commander Bozeman and Commodore Todd are having conversations with 3 agents outside the loading door of the museum, trying to give them directions as to what other investigations they can do while they are here. And you all notice that Commodore Todd looks at you, a very tall, a serious looking black man, gives you like this very stern look, as if he's kind of annoyed that you all are here, and then returns to having this conversation with the other agents, and then steps away from that group and comes up to you all and says, I know that it seems that we have been taking too long to get this resolved, but if you all can bear with us for a couple more hours, we should be able to determine what the cause of this kernel instability was, and then you can go back to whatever unimportant work you were doing at HQ. And then glances, gives a very awkward glance at all of your uniforms, just to make sure that your uniforms are in order, because you know that he's typically a stickler for your uniforms, and then walks away again. You are now briefly by yourself. If there's anything that you'd like to do or any conversation you'd like to have, while the rest of Timewatch is not noticing you all standing in the rain alone.
Okay, so we're not expected to have any menial tasks to do right now, just to be around.
Your only job mostly is to ensure that the time lock stays intact.
Okay.
And if you do see anything that may be evidence, you're expected to log it with another agent, but they don't want to hear your insights about what it is. They are not curious about whatever discovery you may make. They just want you to point at evidence and just keep watch over it in the event that rain does degrade any of the quality of that evidence.
Okay.
Which means that you can also look around if you like, but anything that you do with anything that you find may be considered grounds for a serious reprimand by your superiors.
Okay, well, what do you all think? Should we just like walk around but stick together and maybe go check out like the entry of the museum and see if there's anything
that's a good idea.
unusual to see? Okay.
So you want to check the loading area, or you want to go to the front entrance?
Front entrance first and then loading area.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You walk around to the front entrance. One of the things that I will tell you, because of the many Timewatch tools that you have been given in your duties, you all have PDAs, like very small tablets, that will give like basic readings and other information about any potential temporal anomalies that you may witness while present during an investigation. You notice that this has been essentially giving the same very strong reading. It's not immediately parsable, like the raw data is so magnitudinous that it's actually kind of difficult to just observe what's happening in this 18 seconds. But what the thing that you know is something arrived here and seemed to be moving very quickly. As you are looking at your PDAs, you notice that it spent very little time at the front entrance, but it did go to the front entrance at some point. And as you start walking away from the loading area, the level of data that the PDA is going through reduces to the point where you can now notice two very unique details, which is of the data that this PDA can gather, it can essentially tell you what is the difference in time between the moment in time that you are presently at and the anomalous event or activity that is taking place. So it essentially tells you whether the thing is from the future or from the past and how far away that thing is. And it's identifying two things that are obviously from two completely different points in time. But again, this kernel anomaly is so large, whatever is happening in this 18 seconds seems so upsetting that it actually cannot tell the difference. It cannot actually tell you how far away these events are. It can't tell you how old those two things are from 1990 or from themselves, only that there are two different points in time.
Okay.
Does anyone want to look around the area to see if they notice anything in the area? So Dr. Kang, do you have the notice investigative ability?
Yes, I have 2. Yeah.
Aha, so I can give you this for free. You are one of the first people to notice. Everyone else notices immediately after you do, but you are one of the first people to notice that there is what seems to be a piece of paper on the floor. Maybe a scrap of torn paper, or as you start looking at it, you notice that it's actually cloth, like 1.5 inches, just kind of triangular in shape, just lying in the rain. You notice that it's cloth because it seems incredibly resistant to what has been 3 hours of rain. And when you pick it up, you notice that it's actually a torn piece of painted canvas. Does anyone else want to look at that torn piece of canvas and see if they see anything from it?
Can we know
Is
the
there any-
color?
On one side is pure white, like what seems to be the unpainted side is white. But there is a kind of off-white quality to the other side that seems not rougher because the back is canvas, so you can feel the actual fabric, but is obviously impacted with what you can tell from touch is paint. Which is when you notice that it is the torn part of an actual painting, and it looks like on the painted side is what looks like the painted object on the other side is still cloth. It looks like a blanket or like the sail of a ship or something like that. And does anyone have in fact, yes, Sally, you're the one who notices this as a result because you have history contemporary. You know what this painting is torn from.
Oh, I do.
Mm-hmm.
A very famous painting, maybe. This seems like a famous Rembrandt, maybe?
Indeed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a stitch because you guessed that. For those who are not aware, one of the paintings that was stolen from the Gardner heist is the only seascape that was ever painted by Rembrandt, which is a storm on the Sea of Galilee.
No. Wow. Sally
and
knows so much more than Leslie.
and you are literally looking at somebody literally cut out the entire topsail of that
Okay.
painting
Okay.
for some reason. And as you are noticing it, as you look at it, you realize that something totally inexplicably is written behind the paint.
Mm.
Of
Okay.
course, that
So
means you have to
something
damage this to see it, but it's already damaged. No one's ever going to
Yeah,
see
but should we
this
damage
painting
it
ever again.
now, or should we get the other people to come and look at it?
That's a decision that you have to make. You can take this to Commodore Todd and Commander Bozeman and see what they have to say about it. Or you can look at it yourself, and if they find out that you have been doing investigation on your own, you may be punished. But as of this moment, they don't even know that you're on the other. They haven't even noticed that you've walked away from the loading area yet. As far as you know, you are here undisturbed. You can look at this if you wish.
Okay, well, I am a thrill seeker and you're a risk taker, so I feel like we would definitely look.
Dr. Chen is curious. I'm sure this is also information you'd like to know.
Dr. Chen is curious. Okay, let's do it. Let's look.
Okay. What is the ability I think would be useful for actually investigating here?
Hacking? Is that maybe? I don't know if that's
that
all
would not be
technical.
useful, but I will say this. Irida, you have forgery. It occurs to you that with some of the materials that are around in the museum, someone will be able to tell that this is a tampered element of a painting, but you can partially restore this to the point where if you were fortunate enough, you could turn this to Timewatch HQ, and they will not notice that it has actually been damaged for quite some time. I mean, they will eventually tell, but you can take the paint off and then put paint back, and it will last at least a day before they notice. But you will have to spend your point in forgery to do so. Do you want to do that?
I'm happy to do so. I'm feeling powerful right now. Let's do it.
Okay. Knowing that you can restore the paint on this piece of canvas, you scrape as much of the painting of the topsail off of this piece of cloth, and you notice in cursive handwriting on this piece of cloth are the words, and let me get this right, I actually took this note. I actually prepared this time. You see the words Judge Solomon Last. And you see the initials AE. It is not a fancy cursive handwriting that you cannot immediately identify. You know that Timewatch has records literally of every signed or written document in the history of time, and that, like, specifically for the purposes of identifying these things. But if you were a commissioned officer, your job would be to memorize those things, and you're not that important yet, which is why you're not allowed to investigate yet. But you see that, and now you can return this piece of cloth to some manner of off-white if you want to. As you do so, Dr. Cheng, you notice two agents turning the corner to walk towards you. If they see Irida tampering with what may be evidence, you all will be reprimanded. How do you respond?
Let's restore it.
Yeah, get it done quick. Maybe
Yes, you'll have to do this very quickly.
We can
In fact,
try.
you can give me a role for that. But if anybody wants to interrupt these two agents before they can see what's happening, you can do that.
Okay, I have some charm. Maybe I could go just like talk to them, ask them how the investigation's going to give Rita a little more time.
Okay. So you walk with these two agents. What do you tell them? What do you ask them? What are your exact words?
Hello. I was just wondering where I could be most helpful. I really am trying to learn and just like get involved in the process. I want to make sure I'm doing a good job. And so I went back here, but I think that they have this area covered. So I didn't know if maybe there was somewhere else I should go and check out to be helpful, but out of the way. Maybe just ass kissing a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So here's what I'll say. So these are two ensigns. They're still ranked higher than you, but they're still lower on the commissioned officer scale.
Okay.
One of them, their name is Carolyn Deep. You have a pleasant relationship with Carolyn. I mean, she's been working longer than you've been enlisted, but you get the impression that she is fond of seeing people who are actually like eager to actually do investigative work. She gets the vibe that you are very eager to rank up and actually start doing investigations. So she's not as mean to you, but she does know that if she commiserates with you too deeply, she will also be reprimanded by higher ups. So she's trying to play it cool. So you see her look around the corner behind her and then turns to you and says, I get it, right? You want to be helpful, and I want to give you the opportunity to do that, but I really don't think there's anything useful here. Like, all we have so far are our readings, and I don't get the sense that, like, if something happened here, it happened without touching anything, as far as I can see. I mean, the research would imply, if we were to just make a guess, that this has something to do with the heist that will happen 2 days ago, but other than that, I can't get anything here. I guess the only other thing, and then she lifts out a plastic bag, a Timewatch issue evidence bag, and in it is a brass button. Do you have what would be useful here for Sally? Contemporary would still work here. You know that this is based on your contemporary history knowledge, you know that this is a British military uniform button, but it would take you actually looking at some images to tell how old it is. You can't tell if it's World War II, World War I, if it's older still, just that it's a classic British military uniform button, and that it is mostly brand new at this moment, which can't possibly be the case given the ordinary span of time, because then it'd be like at least what 6 decades old, 8 decades old.
So it looks so new that it probably didn't come from like inside the museum. It came from time.
Yes,
like
someone brought
history,
this button
where someone
here.
Brought it in the anomaly. Okay, and it's not like rusted or anything, so it definitely showed up.
It looks
recently
dented. It looks mildly dented, but otherwise brand new. And Ensign Deep like raises it next to her head and says, "Do you know anything about this? Can you tell me what?" I'm not sure I know. I mean, I could just look, but if you know what this button is from, that would be very useful.
If I do.
Yeah.
Know what
She's literally asking you.
Yes. It just looks maybe like something from a uniform, probably like maybe a pocket button, if I had to guess, since it's not so big, but I don't know exactly what kind of uniform it would be from. I'd have to go like look at the archives of Timewatch to figure it out.
So can't narrow it down by generation, by at least what country might be using this. No knowledge at all.
British.
Like she's looking at you like she has no idea what this button might be on.
Okay, yeah, it looks British to me. So but it's definitely not tarnished or anything. So well cared for.
As you are speaking, everyone, these two ensigns are focused on you. You're focused on Ensign Deep. It's only out of the corner of your eye when you realize that you're being fiercely stared at. You notice that Commander Bozeman is standing behind Ensign Deep.
Yeah. So
at
I
you.
mean, if I had to guess, that's what I would say. But I'm just a lowly Timewatch member, and I don't really know anything. So I'm sure there's someone better to ask.
Commander
maybe.
Bozeman leans over Ensign Deep's shoulder. If you had to guess.
If I had to guess, I'd say it's British.
Did someone ask you to guess? And he starts turning his head very slowly and angrily towards Ensign Deep.
No. I was just speculating. It's totally on me.
Yeah. Are you being paid? Are you being paid today to speculate?
No, I shouldn't have done that. I was just thinking maybe I'll go look around at the front entrance. Maybe I can be of better use there. Just make sure that the whole time block looks good.
Yeah. Yes,
for the time block.
So long that you know that's the singular duty that you've been afforded today.
Yeah, just gonna go check the perimeter a little bit more.
And I take it your colleagues are doing that as well? Mind you, Arita, at this point you have already perfectly replicated the...
Yeah, they're gonna come up to me. Come on, let's go check the perimeter. And leave the real investigative work to the people who know what they're doing.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're just gonna wander away from the area.
Cool. You all walk away. As you are, Arita, as you are replacing like what is essentially just scraping paint off the side of the museum wall and kind of grinding it into dust that will replace the paint on the cloth. Dr. Cheng, that's when you notice that there is a fragment on the cloth that wasn't written in ink but does seem indented, so you can still get a sense of what it's actually saying in that moment, if you'd like actually pay attention to it. And with your notice ability, I can give you for free that it's a set of coordinates, but you would need to go back to HQ or plug it into your PDA to figure out what those coordinates are. And if you do so, Timewatch HQ will be aware that you are checking that information. I mean, you won't be punished now, but you will be punished. Do you want to get that information or not?
How do you guys think?
Well, I think Arita and I are the bad influences here.
It does seem characteristically that Arita and Sally are constantly pushing you to make reckless decisions, and you are not entirely as thrill-seeking as they are. So you may be a little intimidated by the decision, but that is still, because you're the person who noticed it first, you can at least tell them that you noticed something and ask them what they would like to do.
Yeah, can I just keep the coordinates and maybe check it later?
Oh yeah, you can just write it down and you can investigate it at a later date. And if you can find the means to do that research without Timewatch noticing, if you just like use a modern computer, that would be fine, but then you'd have to not be monitored by Timewatch, and you're still going to be here for a while unless you want to leave.
Yeah, I will keep it for later. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the rest of you spend 2 more hours in the rain outside the Gardner Museum doing nothing, staring at absolutely nothing. And grand. After that, you are essentially on your own time. Even though you are a member of Timewatch, you can at any point in time do whatever you like to do with your own free time. Of course, Timewatch HQ was founded several years in the future from this present moment. So this is essentially like the 2060s. Suffice it to say that the internet is both better and worse in all the ways that you can possibly imagine. You actually have to press a button on Google to take off AI every time you actually do a search. But you can decide, do you want to go to an internet cafe or you want to go home and check these coordinates if you like. Do you all decide to look into this together, or Dr. Cheng, do you do this research by yourself?
Yeah, we'll do it together. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Where do you
I mean,
go? Do you,
go ahead.
where
I was
do
just
you
gonna
go
say
to do the?
we're in downtown Boston. Maybe we should go to a library. I'm sure there's a lot of like nice libraries we could go to and just use a computer there.
Mm-hmm. And no one will know.
And no one will
So yeah.
know.
You wait until your period observing the museum is over, and the Timewatch orders dictate that whenever an enlisted officer is not on duty, they must verify that they have returned to the 2060s. You can be anywhere on Earth that you want to be at that point, so you just check out in the 2060s in Boston. Libraries still exist, fortunately, so you can still go to a library. So you go to the nearest library and rent a laptop for free and sit down and plug in the coordinates, and you notice that it's mildly corrupted. You notice as you start typing that it has 2 extra digits on each latitude for no real reason. But when you take out the first 2 digits of each set of coordinates, you notice that those 4 digits collectively add up to the number 1971. And that the coordinates are for an address in Vancouver, Washington. Does anyone else have history contemporary? Does Dr. Cheng have history contemporary?
I do have.
Aha. So you notice this first as everyone is typing. It doesn't make sense separately, but when you realize that the location is in Washington, it occurs to you that one of the few noteworthy events that took place around that area in 1971 is also a heist. 1971, in late 1971, someone giving the name Dan Cooper took a flight to Seattle, hijacked a flight to Seattle, asked the local government to give him $200,000 US in cash, and then leapt out of the plane over southwest Washington, and would have potentially landed somewhere in this area, but instead went missing and has still been unfound to this day. So it is reasonable to believe that he may have been hiding out in this address, or that the address has some information relative to the DB Cooper plane hijacking. You have no idea what that has to do in relation to this, because that was one guy robbing a plane, hijacking a plane and getting away with $200,000 ransom. And the Gardner heist is 2 people robbing a museum of several dozen paintings. But they seem to be connected, so it may as well be worthy of investigation. What immediately occurs to you as well, again, because Timewatch doesn't like you and doesn't trust you, the autocrons that you use to time travel are Timewatch issue devices. If you use it to travel, they will know where you went. So you can give this information to higher ups and see if they do something with it, but they told you not to investigate. Or you can go there. Which would you prefer?
We're gonna go.
Yeah, definitely go.
Do you go right away? Do you leave the minute that you realize this information? You have all of your gear on you.
We have
Yes.
all our gear.
Hmm.
How could we like fly there? What are our modes of transportation that are available to us?
Right. So, how the autocron functions is if you put in a date and time and a series of coordinates, it will essentially open a tunnel that will allow you to essentially be teleported there. But one, time travel incurs a mild chronal stability consequence for everybody that performs it. So I will need you to do a time travel test if you want to do so, which you didn't have to do before because you didn't choose to time travel. They summoned you. You are more or less fine in that regard when you were brought to the Gardner Museum. But if you want to do it on your own, you are essentially the one starting the car, as it were, in order to time travel. So you will all have to do a time travel test. And two, it is of note that you only have a year. You know roughly that the DB Cooper hijacking took place in November, if I'm not mistaken. I'm literally checking the Wikipedia page. Be patient with me. Yes, you know that the DB Cooper hijacking took place on November 24th. So you know that somewhere between the night of the 24th and the morning of the 25th, he went missing. So you can decide if you want to arrive on the 24th, the 25th, or sometime before or after that. But you know the location. And if you put in the location and a point in time, it will take you to that location at that point in time with a potential loss of chronal stability.
I think we should go before so we can like kind of see what he's up to and see if we can get any clues if he's doing anything weird or suspicious before. I don't know. What do you guys think? For the day that we're going to travel there.
Can we
Which
use
is
any skills to confirm the date or location?
If you want to essentially do some investigation, you can essentially spend a point in research. If anyone has a point in research, you can spend it to essentially determine whether there is any useful information from Timewatch regarding any anomalies before, during, and after that point. But the only valuable information that would help you narrow that question down is Timewatch information, which means that you have to get it from your PDA, and that means we're definitely doing the thing where you will have to let them know that you are traveling. They're not going to come for you right away. You can do the thing. Please press the button. But the only way that you can get information that would narrow that down for you is if you investigate Timewatch archives.
Okay. I have one research. Arita, you have one research?
Irida does have one research as well. Does Dr. Cheng also have one research?
Yeah, I have two.
Oh, so you can spend one more.
Yeah,
You can spend one without any issue. Okay, cool.
Sure.
So do you want to spread that 1 point?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you open your PDA. It's very weird. It's supposed to just be a tablet, but it kind of pops out a holographic keyboard that works almost as efficiently as a physical keyboard would. You start like going through the archives looking for information. And you notice that even though it is not of the exact same intensity, there is a similar chronal instability signature taking place exactly from the very late evening of the 23rd of November, like 11:20 p.m. That isn't centered in Vancouver, but you can notice that there is a train that passes from, there's a train of that chronal instability that passes from Portland, Oregon, to the Seattle International Airport. to Vancouver, Washington, and settles there strongly around the 25th. So you know that something was happening somewhere that cannot be identified in the greater Portland area on the 23rd, and that it settled for a very long time, very late, very early in the morning on the 25th in Vancouver, Washington. So you know, if you get there on the 25th, you're going to see what was there. You're going to meet whoever or whatever actually got there. And if you get there, roughly the signature kind of peters out around like 6 p.m. that evening. There is a trail of some other chronal instability taking place there, but not as strong. So if you got there around 5 or 6 p.m. on the 25th, you might see what they left behind. But other than that, it seems like because all of that instability is present at that moment, unless you want to get in and actually interact with whatever was present there, maybe getting there on the day will be a source of confrontation. Unless, of course, you want to actually find out who was there, if you think that you can sneak convincingly.
Yeah, do we think that we'd be able to like watch from afar and see what's going on? Or is it better to just go afterwards?
I will
Kind of
also
seeming
qualify
like-
that the address in particular, the location in particular for those coordinates is like a house on the river nearby that has no convenient tree cover or brush cover and is not surrounded by other houses. So unless you have like top tier camera equipment, you would have to actually get up to the house to see what's happening there. And unfortunately you don't, because you're not supposed to be investigating. So either you want to get there when nobody is present, or you want to be very good at hiding.
What if we're really good at boating on the river?
Also possible.
Because I'm good. I'm getting at building stuff, so maybe I could like.
Because you have
little boats, yeah, and I'm good at vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if we found a boat, we could just happen to be like fishing on the river.
Okay,
during this time.
So you want to
so
travel
we wouldn't
on the
even
25th,
have to
then?
hide. We could just be like doing something else on the fishing on the river. Lots of good November in Vancouver, Washington. We could be catching some salmon, maybe.
Very possible, yes.
Yeah. Just bring my fishing hat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So
what do we
yeah.
think?
What do the rest of you think about that plan?
I think that sounds fun.
Yeah.
I
Ready
like
to
the
learn to
idea of
fish?
fishing.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. I think Sally's definitely a good fisherwoman.
Cool. So you set your autocrons, the watches that you have been traveling with, that allow you to time travel, for a destination that's just a bit away from the actual house,
Yeah, like a
closer to the
half-mile
river.
upriver.
Mm-hmm. For roughly very early morning on the 25th.
Okay.
And when you arrive, you arrive at a clearing of the river that is mostly undisturbed. You can either very conveniently start making a wooden raft if you want, which is a thing that you can I mean, it's still a vehicle, so I'm not going to judge you. Or you can take some extra time and actually search for boating materials from some of the other houses nearby the river, which will probably require you to do some sneaking and some mild thievery in order to get away with some of that materials. Do you have any general abilities that you think would help you do that? I mean, you have 4 points in burglary.
Yeah, that's not bad.
If you want to roll for burglary, I will allow it. Because I will say that the difficulty is 5. This is something that you've done before. It is still very difficult. But it's not like you've not conducted mild thievery in the attempt to build a vehicle before. It's what you were doing before you got hired in Timewatch, I'm sure.
Yes.
So if you roll 1d6 and if you can at least meet a 5 would be nice.
Ooh,
And of course you can
risky.
spend some of your points in burglary to reduce that difficulty.
Do I have to spend them before I roll?
You do have to spend them before you roll, yeah.
What do we think? Should I spend a point to get it down to?
The number 5 is on a 6-sided die. You can get a 5 with a base roll if you want to, but that's quite a chance
bad.
to, yeah.
I don't know. It's Vancouver. There's big trees. I feel like with my tinkering, I could make a pretty solid raft.
Cool.
With supplies at hand. Because my tinkering's a lot better than
a raft
burglary.
is much easier to do.
Yeah.
I will tell you, in fact, yeah, because you have... I will tell you that it costs literally spending 1 point in vehicles to just get a raft. The only material consequence will be people will see you cutting down trees. No one's going to stop you, but you are going to notice that people have noticed. So you have no idea what people are going to do with the information of a strange woman just cutting down trees in the middle of Vancouver without a permit.
I feel like if we're going to do that, we have to take the time to get a fishing license first.
Yeah, you would have to be here for a while,
get
and you don't have that time.
Yeah, okay, so we're gonna steal a boat then. I'll spend a burglary point as well. I think is the move. Because
Okay.
I think if we go the other route, we're gonna attract too much attention. And we already maybe Dr. Chen, can you go get us fishing licenses while I steal a boat?
You definitely do not have time to get a fishing license, sadly. So you're gonna steal a whole boat.
Okay, we're gonna steal a boat.
Okay, difficulty 5. Are you spending any points in burglary?
Yes, I'll spend 1 point in burglary.
Okay.
Will that get, so now I just need a 4.
So now you just need a 4, yes.
Okay. Oh no.
Well, that did not go well. You notice that there is a boat parked at a house near the river. You attempt to claim this boat for yourself. The minute that you start detaching it from its anchor, you notice the very loud and angry footsteps of 4 or 5 men coming out from the house. You still have not successfully gotten this boat untied, and they are now out the door, armed. 2 men have essentially they have broomsticks in their hands. One man has a kitchen knife, one man is unarmed, and the other has a handgun.
Okay.
The man with a handgun says, "What are you doing?"
Oh,
he is not pointing it at you yet, but he is obviously very upset.
Is this Gregory Wilson's house?
Unfortunately, no, and I don't think I can't speak for Greg, but I'm pretty sure you kind of have to ask permission before you start taking people's boats.
Oh yeah. He sent me a description of where to go to get his boat. He wanted me to bring it downriver for him, but I must have gotten off on the wrong channel. I'm so sorry. Let me just tie this back up for you, and I will go back and reorient my directions. Cool. I'm so sorry for the trouble.
thank you very much for returning my boat. I hope you find whatever it is you're looking for. And they just
Yes.
stand there silently for several minutes waiting for you to walk away.
Yes, I'm just gonna tie this up and walk down
Yeah.
the bank very quickly.
They
Mhm.
watch you walk away from the house very sternly.
Okay.
You have not succeeded in acquiring a boat.
Bummer.
Do you want to still try to find a boat, or do you just want to try sneaking around the house this time instead?
I think I tried just sneaking around the house. I don't know. Or do we give up on the boat, or should I try again?
I mean, you can try again. It will cost another burglary roll, and the difficulty is still 5.
What do you guys think?
I mean,
Although-
unless somebody else wants to try stealing a boat.
Dr. Chen, how's your burglary skills?
I can try. I have 2 burglary. But,
Oh no.
Okay. So the difficulty is still 5. You can roll without spending any points, but if you do spend a point, it will lower the difficulty. Yes.
I have a question. Can we actually borrow the boat from them instead of stealing
you can-
from them?
I mean, you can ask for the boat. You can try to charm them for the boat, but that's going to be incredibly difficult now
Oh,
that they are
okay.
aware that somebody tried to steal the boat.
Oops.
But you can try to charm somebody else. There aren't a lot of other boats immediately nearby. There's a lot of boat parts, but this is the only boat for several miles of river. And if you keep going upward, it's going to take you a while to come back down to this house anyway.
Right.
So
I mean, how cold is it? I guess it's November. It's cold. We
it's
can't
November.
just be going for a swim.
Yeah, it's kind of bad.
Okay.
I will spend 2. So I
To
just
try to
need
steal.
get 3, right?
Yeah, that would bring it down to 3.
Okay.
So yeah, if you can roll 1d6 and get at least a 3, you will succeed in having a boat. Aha!
Okay.
A 4.
Yeah, I got it.
Yay!
So this is hilarious because it means that immediately after Sally walks away, these guys watch Sally walk all the way down the riverbank until she is out of sight, and then go back into their house, and then Dr. Lin Chen simply turns a corner, comes back to the boat, unties the boat, and leaves, and no one noticed at all. But now you have a boat, and you are now traveling down the river. Of course, this means that while you are on the river, unless you literally want to drop anchor in the middle of the river outside this house, you only have a short window of time to try to observe what is taking place inside the house. You don't have any materials to make like a telescope or binoculars or anything like that. You can use the camera on your PDA, which is of remarkable quality. It was made in the 2060s. But if you take any images with it, if you take any photos with it, it will become time watch evidence, and they will be aware not only that you use the PDA to take a photo, but that you are presently no longer in the 2060s. And as previously noted, your superiors will not like that. But you can use the camera to just look into the house. Who does that? Who is the person who actually looks into the house as you are traveling down this boat, knowing that you are traveling at such a speed that you have maybe like 6 or 7 minutes of a clear vantage point through one of the 2 front windows in order to see what's inside?
Can we all do this? So increase our.
I mean, all of you can do it. You can all use your PDAs.
Okay. Now we see more, right? So.
So I will say each of you notices something different. Dr. Chen, the first thing that you notice is that in one of the rooms nearer to the eastern front window, there is a table that seems to have a map on it. The map, you can tell, again, the quality of the back cameras on these tablets are incredible. You can tell that there is a sheet of paper on the table that is resting too flat for you to see what is on it. But it looks like the size of a map or blueprints of some sort. And it is being held open by bottles of beer with the labels torn off. And you see that a man who looks very obviously like a 1600s era, age of piracy era pirate is looking at the map very sternly. Again, this is happening in 1971. He's not supposed to be here. Either this is someone in a very good pirate costume, or this is a pirate. And if it's a pirate, he's not supposed to be here. Irida, you notice in the other window that there is a very small figure in a bomber jacket, maybe like 5'6", 5'7", might be a woman, tied to a chair, like duct tape around the arms and legs, duct tape around the mouth. You do not immediately know who this is. Like, the tape around the face is so abundant that you cannot immediately identify any details, other than the fact that the jacket is still visible. And Sally, you notice as they start turning as the boat starts passing the house and you turn the corner, that there is an unreasonable amount of torn branches and brush behind a large piece of metal outside at the back of the house. And as the boat keeps passing it, you notice that it is a small plane. And the detail that you notice on that on the wing of that plane is that it has the wing number NR16020.
Okay.
Sally, Sally has history contemporary. I can give you this for free.
Okay.
You don't know who's in the house. You didn't see the two windows that your two colleagues did see.
Mhm.
What you saw is Amelia Earhart's plane.
Okay. Awesome.
It's covered in bunches of leaves, so you can't tell the quality that it's in, but it does look like it has suffered a great deal of damage near the bottom and from a side of the edge, a side of the right side of the plane that you cannot really see. You can see some burn damage somewhere around the front propeller and at the bottom, that you get the impression that if it is really bad, it's going all the way on the other side, but you can't really tell whether that's flying quality or not.
Can I tell if it's like on a wagon, or does it look like it landed there?
It looks like it landed there. It looks like it fell
Okay.
there.
Okay.
So yeah, all of you have completely different details. And it's up to you to decide to put that together into some kind of information.
Okay. Arita, the woman sitting in the chair, do we have more details about like what she's wearing, or like, is she alive?
All we know is that she is wearing a bomber jacket, but I don't
She
know
is
the
wearing, okay.
color. And then we don't know if her identity, just because the face was also covered with the tape. Is there any way that we can see that if this woman is part?
Just putting that information together, you immediately can make the guess that if that's Amelia Earhart's plane, that's probably Amelia Earhart.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
You don't know why she's in 1971,
right?
Because her plane crashed in 1927. This is a while ago, but the plane, other than seeming damaged, doesn't seem like it has degraded by time by any means. It seems like
Mhm.
an accident occurred to it, not that it has been unkept for several decades. And again, you
Okay.
don't know why she's tied up
Yeah.
or what the pirate
Okay.
is doing here.
Yeah, the pirate I have zero follow-up questions for because I do not know what could be going on with the pirate. Is our device like detecting anything, any extra signals or information coming from the devices we have?
So because each of you are observing this thing, the PDAs can tell you that each of the individual things that you've just noticed is one small part of the large-scale coronal instability that is taking place in this building, which is confirmation that that pirate is an actual pirate. And confirmation, at least, that even if this is not Amelia Earhart, and even if this is not Amelia Earhart's Electra, these people are not supposed to be here either.
What year did you
Yes.
say the pirate seemed like it was from?
He seems like a classic 1600s Age of Piracy era pirate.
Okay.
Not like stereotypical peg leg, hooked arm thing. Like, he's otherwise healthy and quite young, but you can tell that he is out of time in this moment. He's severely sunburnt, missing a couple teeth. This is information only Dr. Chen knows, but still.
Okay.
So I take it you will all share this information and try to come to a conclusion.
Yes. Yeah.
Can we
As we're floating down the
talk
river.
talk amongst yourselves and come to your own conclusions? What do you think is happening here? Dr. Chen, you were about to ask a question.
Yeah, you mentioned the wing number. Can we do some like search which this like this plane belong to based on the wing number?
Oh no, the wing number confirms that this is Amelia Earhart's plane.
Okay.
It is literally the plane that she was flying when she disappeared in 1937. And it seems like it is in its flying condition with some minor damage. Well, with some major damage that does not seem to have destroyed its ability to fly.
Okay.
How can we find out why she is tied there?
I mean, to do that, you'd need to break her out. And to do that, you need to go to the house. And to do that, you need to get in a fight with a pirate.
Interesting.
Also, the boat is still moving. You are now now at least half a mile away from the house. If you want to get to the house now, you need to stop the boat, get off the river, and go back to the house.
Okay. I definitely think we like stop the boat, tie it up, and just like gather our thoughts, exchange all our information, and come up with a plan. So we're not still going farther down the river.
I agree.
As you are doing so, what is the thing I want to do? Okay, who is actively tying up the boat?
Probably Dr. Chin, since he did such a good job stealing it in the first place.
Okay. Yeah.
Dr. Chen, you are tying up the boat. Sally, what are you doing? What are you doing as the boat stops?
I'm like ruffling around in the bottom of the boat. They have like some toolboxes in there and stuff, and I'm just seeing if there's any supplies in the bottom of the boat that maybe possibly want to leave with me when we get out of the boat. So just checking to see if there's some extra like tools that could be useful, like maybe, weapons.
You see on this boat 2 flare guns.
Nice.
A small hunting knife. Like, it would be like a 6-inch or 7-inch hunting knife, but it's for some weird reason 4 inches. Like somebody wanted specially something that is not long enough that it would be like flagged by a police officer. You see a small pouch with what seems like $300 US cash.
Okay.
And yeah, nothing else here is immediately useful to you unless you presume that you're going to be in Vancouver for a while. Like there's a map of Vancouver, Washington. There's like there are like fishing and traveling permits in the name of the owner of the boat. Which is very interestingly enough, you now discover that this boat was owned by a Gregory B. Wilson.
Liar.
Well, he still didn't know you. You were still stealing his boat.
Fair enough.
So yeah, other than the flare gun and the knife, there's not much, and the money, there's not much of use. And even if you take the money, if you travel out of this time period, you have no idea how much this money may appreciate or depreciate. So maybe the money is not useful, but you do have 2 flare guns and a knife. As you are doing that, Irida, what are you doing? Are you still even on the boat, or are you on the riverbank at this point?
I am preparing to fight.
You are preparing to fight. That is useful.
That's
That is actually
rescue, Emily.
That is actually very valuable information. So you get off the boat first. You are waiting for everybody else to finally wrap up this boat so you could figure out what we're doing when you get to the house. You are probably already walking towards the house when you notice, coming out of the woods behind the house, you see a man in what seems to be an entirely self-stitched, like kind of weird combination between 1600s and early 1910s British military uniform. You see him come out of the brush with the carcass of a dead deer and like a large blade in his hand. He sees you immediately because you are still in Timewatch uniform. And he drops the deer like he was dragging it out of the woods by its antlers. He lets go of the antlers and runs toward the house. He is at least like 50 feet ahead of you. You would need to make an effort if you need to catch up with him. And if you start running now, you are running by yourself because they're still putting up the boat. What do you do?
I will want to catch him.
Okay, so you're just we're gonna start running?
Yes, let's start running.
Are you going to ask them to join you first, or are you just gonna run and call back to them and hope that they catch up with you?
What would be the cost if I wait for them?
He will gain even more distance from you. He might even get to the house before you get to him.
But if I didn't catch him in time, we will not be able to know who he is and
Nope.
why he is doing the here.
Plus, there is a kidnapped woman in the house, and you have no idea what's gonna happen to her.
Can I toss you the flare gun, maybe?
You haven't noticed anything yet.
Okay.
Irida has to let you know that something is happening before you know that something is happening.
Oh, so can I let them know what is happening and then I run first? And I run chasing after this man?
So you want to run and just kind of call back to them as you are running?
Right.
Yeah, you can do that, but it does mean that you are running by yourself because they will have to take out. They will be taking their time just after. I mean, they will follow after you, but you will be running ahead of them. So yeah, that's perfectly fine. The both of you, while you're tying up the boat, you notice Irida shout and then take off towards the house. You see Irida running. You have not yet seen what Irida is running towards. You just know that it is in the direction of the house. You still have to put up this boat. It is not completely tied yet. Dr. Chen, if you let go and start running now, this boat is just going to continue traveling down the river by itself. Sally, you can get off the boat if you wish. And now you have 2 guns, 2 flare guns.
Yeah, I think I'm
They're
running
not
with
very
my
useful.
guns
Okay.
while Dr.
As in-
Chen finishes
as in-
tying up the boat.
As in, you're just gonna have the guns out as you're running?
Yeah, and I put the
Okay.
knife in my belt as well because I'm not leaving behind anything useful.
Cool. You have to get off the boat first, so you are still roughly about 10 or 12 feet behind Irida, but you are still giving chase. And Dr. Chen, you notice your 2 partners take off running towards the house while you are still tying the boat. You are almost done, but it's still going to take a little bit of effort. I would like now, this is a part that I did not prepare for, actually, performing a chase.
No, we're gonna steal a boat.
Sadly, the boat wouldn't help you going back up the river, so you have to run. Right. So I need to make some rolls. I am actually going to do a thing. Right. And I'm going to do it here because I don't have physical dice with me. So everyone can see the thing. Aha, not very good. This man's pace does not change, but he is still quite a bit ahead of you. I would like to see an athletics roll. First from Irida and then from Sally. Your difficulty is 4. You are quite fit. I mean, you did have to do some training to join Timewatch, but this person is ahead of you by quite a great deal. It would take some it is possible for you to catch up with them, but if they get to the house before you do, you have no idea exactly what's going to happen by the time that you get there. You'll get there in time to respond, but not in enough time to stop something from happening. So you'd have to get or beat this 4 to hope for something better than that. Do you want to spend any of your points in athletics to do so?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
I will
If
spend.
you
Sorry.
if you spend a point, you can bring the challenge down by 1. So do you want to bring your athletics rating to 2 and bring your actual difficulty to 3?
Great. Yes.
Okay. And now please give me an athletics roll 1d6.
Oh, she's an
Aha!
athlete.
Well done. Out of nowhere, this burst of adrenaline comes up from within you, and you are almost mythically gaining on this person. You you are maybe 50 feet apart, and you are now maybe 30 feet apart in a manner of like 6 or 8 seconds. This level of speed actually astounds you very briefly, but you don't think about it very much because you still are chasing this person. Sally, you are behind Irida. Please give me an athletics roll.
Okay, my athletics is 3, and I think I'll just roll it. Hey, look at us eating a good breakfast.
Nice. With this 5, you catch up very quickly to Irida. Both of you are now at the same pace. Dr. Chen, you have just finished tying up the boat. Your partners are roughly 15 or 20 feet away from you, and ahead of them in the distance is a man in a long coat that you did not see beforehand, but you get the impression that they're chasing after him. But first you need to catch up with your friends. Would you like to make an athletics roll, or are you going to wait for them to do all the hard work?
Oh, I'll roll it.
Difficulty is still 4.
Okay, I missed it.
Yeah, you do give chase, but you are still roughly behind them, by 10 or 15 feet. Let's see if anything changes for our unknown gentleman. He sees Irida gaining on him, picks up speed, and in a matter of seconds is already inside this this house on the river through a side door. You have no idea what's happening inside this door. It will take you just under a minute to get inside, but all kinds of things can happen in a matter of seconds that you have yet to identify, and you have to get into the house before you figure out how to solve those problems. Give me another athletics roll, Irida. Three, you are still roughly at your present pace, which is still pretty good, but hasn't increased it by any markable deal. Sally, please give me your athletics roll. Sally, you start picking up speed. You gain like just about 5 feet ahead of Irida. The house is just almost within your grasp. Just a couple more strong strides still. Dr. Chen, can you please give me an athletics roll? You are kind of tired. It turns out tying rope actually requires a great deal of stamina. If you've ever actually tied a boat, it does in fact take a great deal of energy out of you. So yeah, you are kind of burnt out. You are still keeping pace. You don't want to lose the opportunity to see what's happening in the house. So you're still following them, but you have not actually gained up with your partners yet. He's already in the house. A thing is happening. From this distance, Sally and Irida, you can hear something dragging from inside the house.
Okay.
Irida, please give me your athletics roll.
Okay. Oh,
You're so tired.
I'm so tired. I'm completely burned out.
A tree branch that you did not pay attention to catches you at the foot, and you are now on your feet on the ground. But you get up very quickly and you are ready to continue chasing towards the house. Sally, please give me your athletics roll.
Oh no.
No.
You don't pay attention to the deck outside the house. You miss your stride trying to leap towards the back door, and you hit your head against the wall beside the door. But you are at the door, just severely dazed. It's going to take you a couple seconds to get up and actually get inside. And from this distance, you can hear the muffled moaning of someone who seems to have their mouth taped up, and the heavy dragging of what sounds like wood against wood. You hear two British voices arguing about something, but you can't tell what. Dr. Chen, please give me your athletics roll. Please don't be a 1. A 5. You pick up just above Irida. You are just a couple of feet away from the door. You are essentially at enough pace to catch it, at enough distance to catch Sally leaning back dazed and kind of fainting from the from accidentally headbutting the door. You hear more dragging. You hear a piece of glass. You hear a large piece of glass breaking somewhere further in the house. Irida, please give me another athletics roll.
3.
3 is good for this purpose. You get to the door. You open the door. The very first thing that you see is a very angry pirate already swinging his arm at you. Give me another athletics roll. In fact, no, give me a scuffling roll. Your difficulty is 4.
It's 4. Okay. Can I spend one of my point on scuffling and make the
Yes, and you can. So you bring it down to 3.
Yes. Okay.
Mhm.
Yay!
Aha, grand. This angry, sunburnt, loose-toothed pirate with his eyes wide swings at you to make a fist towards your face. Somewhere between the dizziness of just getting up off the ground and accidentally stumbling into the dizziness of Sally just trying to stand up after hitting the wall, has you instinctively lean back just in time to dodge a punch to the face, and then you lean back just in time to punch him very hard in the sternum. He is now slumped against the like walkway wall right in front of you. You have no idea because you saw the chair where Amelia Earhart was taped up. When you look to the right, you notice that the chair is not there. But you know that that's the room where he was. And the only other thing in this hallway is an extension of the hallway that turns to the right, leading toward what must be another room, another bedroom or another spare room, the outhouse of this building, and the windows leading to the back of the house. You only saw the plane coming up to the house this time. You know, it's covered in like brush and stuff like that. You can't possibly imagine that someone would attempt to fly out this plane that is now like covered and surrounded by loose branches and trees. You start hearing the propeller of a plane start spinning almost immediately. Someone is attempting to leave with the abducted body of Amelia Earhart. Sally, please give me your athletics roll. You straighten up. You are still outside. You hear the propeller start spinning. You turn to the outside and you see the front propeller of this plane start queuing through grass and tree branches at like a very vigorous clip. You notice that the outer edges of the wings seem to be changing color.
Okay.
Do you go into the house or do you go toward the plane?
I go towards the plane, I think.
Okay. You run towards the plane. You are mere feet away from like you can reach the passenger door handle of the plane.
Mm-hmm.
When you look through the window, you can see Amelia Earhart covered in duct tape and a very stern-looking, lean British man in a very funny-looking what looks like it would be a military uniform, but no military uniform that you've ever seen before. Like somebody just essentially made something up. But you can notice that its buttons have the exact same buttons, or the exact same buttons that you noticed at the Gardner Museum. He looks at you, says something that you do not hear, and then the plane disappears.
Oh, okay. And I can't make out any of what he said, like lip reading.
You heard that he was shouting, but something from the inside seemed to muffle the sound.
Okay.
So all that remains for you to possibly observe is whatever is in the house, including the presently severely winded pirate that is now on the floor inside.
Okay. So both of the British people got away? There's two British people, or were the pirate and the British person that were arguing?
Yeah, the pirate is also British, but he is now on the floor. The people who have escaped is whoever kidnapped Amelia Earhart and his victim, Amelia Earhart.
Okay, so I can run back to the pirate, flare gun in hand.
Are you
Two
are
flare
you going
guns
to
in hands.
do
Well, I'm
you
gonna still
literally
have them.
do
Hopefully,
you
I can.
literally raise this flare gun at this pirate? He's probably
Yeah.
never seen a flare gun before.
Yeah, but maybe he just thinks it's a regular gun. He doesn't know it's a
Yeah, he
flare
just
gun.
thinks that it's a flintlock pistol that is very dangerously glowing red.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna hold it at him and tell him not to move.
Okay. He's very winded. Like, he is so dazed that for several seconds he seems to not notice that you are there, as he's just looking down and trying very strongly to like catch his breath.
Mm-hmm. Is there any
And then
like leftover duct tape around?
Oh yeah, there's an entire roll of duct tape.
Okay.
Like at the window in the room where Amelia Earhart was tied to the chair. But there's
Okay.
nothing to tie him to unless you want to literally strap him to the wall behind him.
Maybe just like a
There is
hog
no
tie
the only other
situation.
furniture in this entire building is the table in the other room, which no one else has noticed yet. Which, by the way, if anybody wants to go to that room now, because Dr.
Yeah.
Chen, you were the only person that noticed that there was a piece of paper on that table. That's a thing that you can look at now.
Sure.
But before that, we're gonna go to the pirate. The pirate finally catches his breath, raises his head up to you, looks to the flare gun in your hand, which you know he thinks is just a flintlock pistol that is dangerously painted red, and starts screaming.
Okay.
Like
Maybe
the highest
Arita...
pitched scream that you've ever heard come out of an adult man.
Can maybe
Like,
Arita get
he
some duct
is
tape on his
afraid for
mouth
his
really quick?
you would have to walk away from him to do that, and if you do that, you know he's going to try to run from you.
Okay, so I'll just hold up the guns and say, like, I'm not gonna hurt you, so that maybe he'll be quiet. But I still am ready.
He stops screaming, still looking wide-eyed at you. And he says in a thick 1600s British accent that I am not going to force because I am not a voice actor. What devilry is this? I've been doing all manner of wicked work for several months just to be held at gunpoint by a literal demon? Where did you get that flintlock from? Like, you can tell he thinks that your gun is cursed and that is why it is so bright red. Is this a thing that you're going to use to your advantage?
Yes. Yeah, I think I tell him, don't worry, I won't use this curse against you as long as you listen and follow instructions and tell us everything you know. But we're gonna go in this house and get out of the deck so people can't see us.
Oh no, you're in the house properly when
we're
you're
in the house.
talking to him.
Okay.
The door is just open behind you, so you can't close it.
Okay, let's close the door. And maybe go to the map room.
You can do that. As we are doing that, we will cut very quickly to Dr. Chen, who is already looking at the map. Do you have... Let me look at all of these skills again. Do you have, by chance... Forgery could technically work here, but also history contemporary would also be valuable. Do you have history contemporary, Dr. Chen?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Aha. This strikes you almost immediately. This is a map of Brussels, Belgium that is several decades old. It is actually somewhere just before, let me actually remember when this is supposed to happen. You have no idea how many Wikipedia pages I have open just to run this game, you guys. So this is a map of Brussels, Belgium, that is at least from the 1690s, if not the 1680s.
Okay, so maybe from the time of the pirate.
Just a little bit. Well, I mean, this pirate, if it weren't for time shenanigans, this pirate would not be alive at this point in time. Everything that but the map, no, like the map is several decades removed from when this pirate would have otherwise lost his life to old age. This pirate technically doesn't even know where Belgium is. But yes. This is just otherwise just a reasonable map of Brussels. It was probably constructed quite recently. Well, recently to that time period. Like it is from the 1690s, it seems like it got to this table only being several months old. It is in relatively good condition. And on it, there are like 3 X's marked on it, and 1 X is circled somewhere deep within the Brussels city center. Other than that, it's otherwise nondescript. The locations themselves don't have their building names on them. The only other things on the table are several bottles of unidentifiable beer, some of which are very recent, and some of which are like remarkably old. As if the pirate literally brought beer with him when he got here. But yes. Also on the table, you see a photograph of you see a photograph of a sketch of the D.B. Cooper sketch that was provided to the newspapers the day that the news report of his hijacking of that Southwestern Airlines flight took place, as if it was taken with a Polaroid camera out of the newspaper that would have been published in at that date, which is also not a thing that's supposed to happen because Polaroids don't exist at that point in time. Those are the only things on the table. If you want to figure out more about the map, you either have to ask the pirate or do your own research. So we cut back to Sally dragging the pirate into the room. What do you do?
I think I hold up one of my cursed guns. I don't point it at him. And I say, tell me everything you know about this map. Why are you here? Who's paying you to be here? And give me all your information. So I don't have to curse you.
His eyes open widely. He gives this very long, tired sigh. And he essentially tells you the longest and silliest story that you've ever heard in your entire service in Timewatch. He was serving on the crew of a pirate ship when a man in a military uniform that he's never seen before defeated his captain in a duel and then took control of his ship. That man identified himself as Long Ben, but this pirate would afterward say that he had a great deal of other aliases that you'd use for various different jobs, including Henry Every, which is a name that he would give like other military personnel on a regular basis, but for nearly 3/4 of a decade was essentially the captain of this pirate crew, which would, as a result, have almost magical knowledge of all of the resources that British and Spanish naval forces had during this period, and would just like ransack their barracks for hundreds of pounds of gold and all of the other priceless valuables that they kept upon them. And he believed, this pirate believed, that the reason why he could do so is because he was traveling in the presence of a witch. And he continuously refers to the woman that he personally bound to the chair as a witch who had magical means of transportation. He refers to the plane as the devil bird, and that they would literally travel in its skeleton throughout different periods of history, which he still thinks is all one concurrent moment in time, that he is simply entering different universes in. He has not yet discovered that this is still Earth. He thinks that we are robbing other dimensions or something in the presence of a witch and her familiar, and that Long Ben essentially used the witch's devil bird in order to travel, and would only keep the witch in their presence in order to gain information about potential timelines and to master the travel of the plane itself, considering that neither of them know how to pilot it. Which is noteworthy to you, Sally, because you saw the other British man in the pilot's seat. So either he learned how to fly, knew how to fly the whole time, or is about to do something stupid, and you can't tell which. But the only other thing that he knows is that he planned another heist, and that he was supposed to get the further information about it when they arrived, but does not know how to interpret the map because he does not know what the map is a location of.
Do you know anything about the museum or Solomon or Rembrandt or D.B. Cooper? Like, does any of those words
Solomon.
mean something? Yeah.
He hears the word Solomon and perks up and says, Solomon, there was something precious. I know one of the things that he planned to steal when he arrives in his next hellish place. I know that Solomon is involved. I know that it may be a work of art of some sort, but again, he kept the details from me until we got there.
Does he know anyone AE? Like the dash AE initials from the Rembrandt? Does AE mean anything to him, or just Solomon?
AE is Emily Earhart.
Okay.
This is a thing that you determine afterwards, but when you say it aloud, the pirate doesn't know what the concept of initials are. He's baffled by the very premise. You are now using you are now entering the territory of modern conveniences that are frightening and profane to him.
Yes.
But yes, he has no other valuable information to give you. All he can tell you other than that is that he was planning to go on this heist with Long Ben, but can't give you any other information about that. You get the impression from just the overwhelming lack of information that the pirate has that perhaps Long Ben is not this guy's name anyway, and neither is Henry Every.
So not very helpful.
Yeah, other than that, you just know the rough time period where this map of Brussels was constructed, which is useful information, but you will need to do research to get it. And again, that's research that only Timewatch can give you. And we are now at a point in time when you can reasonably gather that information, but not via the internet because it's 1971.
Yeah, we should do research on the map.
You can go to a physical library and try to compare the map to another map. Maybe that will tell you a rough time period. You are now at the point where it has immediately occurred to you that maybe you should get maybe you should change out of Timewatch uniform. Now,
Mm.
Timewatch uniform has a special ability that allows the mesh fabric within it to transform into other time-appropriate clothing. But one, in order to do so, it needs to get a scan of the time period that you're presently in. And two, to do so would alert your superiors.
And there's no like clothes in the house we can use.
The house is otherwise empty. Just empty beer bottles, a roll of duct tape, and one table.
Do you guys think we should change? Should we go out and about, or should we go back? I guess we should do research maybe.
In
we can
I
go
fact,
guess they already know we're there, right? Because we time
I
traveled.
want each of you to give me a chronal stability roll.
Okay.
The difficulty is 6.
Oh no. Okay.
Does anyone want to?
Ah!
Aha!
Dr. Chen!
Okay. You are not going to. What would typically happen when I ask for this is that you would suffer. You would lose points of chronal stability as a result. But instead, this is simply to determine which ones of you get notified by Timewatch HQ. Only Sally gets a notification from you get a notification from Admiral Wershing, the highest ranking officer in Timewatch HQ. Like, if Admiral Wershing is at a PDA or at an HQ computer and decides to use that opportunity to message a Timewatch agent, they're either doing something very good or very, very bad. That message says, Officer Silverstein, we are aware that you are presently, all capital letters, conducting unsanctioned research somewhere near Vancouver, Washington in time period 1971. All caps, please return to Timewatch headquarters immediately or suffer severe reprimand. Signed Admiral Wershing. Irida, you just get what is otherwise a standard Timewatch message. Like, this didn't come from actual rank. This came from the computer itself, determined that you were in 1971 and said, "Dear Sir/Madam, you are conducting an unsanctioned investigation in a time zone without any permission from your superiors. Please return to Timewatch headquarters immediately." Dr. Chen, you get no message. No one has been alerted to your presence. Of course, that puts you in a worse position, because if Timewatch HQ arrives and sees that you are here, you will get in worse trouble, because it will seem like you deliberately subverted security measures in order to join this team. So you either definitely want to make sure that your team gets through this investigation without any further hassle, or you want to get back to HQ before something bad happens. And you want to take them with you. But you are aware at this point that Amelia Earhart, an unnamed person, just disappeared in a plane to a point unknown, and is probably doing something very suspicious as we speak. So even though you will still be able to get there, if you do your research in time, you'll be able to get to that point in time. You know that there is still a matter of urgency, because whatever is happening at this moment is happening right now in another timeline. So I will actually leave you to make the decision and have this conversation with everybody else. Do you talk them into going back to HQ, or do you continue with this investigation?
I'll probably continue, yeah.
Okay. You are aware as a result that Timewatch agents are going to look for and try to arrest both of your partners. And if they catch you present, you will probably be in more trouble for getting away with it. So the most that you can hope for is that you solve this investigation before you get there, and you can at least tell them that if you weren't here, if you did not actually do this investigation, something bad would have happened and Timewatch wouldn't have even known. But that's for when Timewatch agents actually arrive. But as that is happening, that means that you have time to continue potentially investigating the map. And the only choices that you have are to do that in a library here in 1971, or to time travel again to a period with computers.
Do it in library.
Okay. You go to a nearby Washington library. And you see if there are any physical maps of Brussels during this period when it was otherwise still known as the Southern Netherlands. There are general kinds of information about this period. You get like there is no facsimile of this map in this library, and the librarian there, very old, genteel woman, is pretty sure that you'll never actually get a physical copy of this map anywhere present. You'll probably be better off finding a copy of this in a European library. But it does immediately strike her as noteworthy that the period seems to be roughly between the 1670s to the 1690s. Because it means that it is more or less a perfectly accurate representation of what Brussels looked like before French military forces would eventually bomb the entire city during the New Year's War. Like, this is the last eagle-eye view of what the city of Brussels will look like before they bombard. You notice that she starts looking at the map very curiously for a moment. She's just kind of lost in it. Like, you can see her muttering silently to herself as she's looking at it. She looks really, like, weirdly pleased by by the revelation of this map. Even though she knows that it's not special, she seems to be fixated on the fact that this is one of very few maps before this period. If anybody wants to know why, they'd need to interrupt her and ask. Does anyone... Some of you have points in charm.
I have 2.
In fact, most of you do. This is a situation where, sadly, there's not much that you can get for free. You just kind of have to ask, which means that you'll need to spend 1 point of charm to actually get her attention.
Okay. I have 2, so I could spend 1. I don't know how much everybody else has.
Okay. Grand. So we'll take 1 point of Sally's charm. Wait, no, I wrote that in the wrong place. Wrong sheet. Grand. So this old lady does, like, she hears you and she's responding to you, but she is incredibly fixated on this map. Like, she is noting the fact that it is, like, she continues muttering to herself for a very long time. Like, you can tell that she heard you, and like she doesn't shush you, but you can tell that she feels distracted by you speaking to her, and then she stops muttering to herself for a moment and turns to you and says, "Did you write these X's on this map?"
No.
You do know what these X's are, right? Like, she turns to you and says, "You do know what these X's are, right?" You don't know what these X's are.
I don't. But maybe I say, "Oh, yeah, my colleague was going to talk to me about those, but maybe you could give my interpretation," so she doesn't know I'm like completely ignorant.
she chuckles, like she thinks that you are essentially covering for some very important observation. So she turns back to the map, briefly gets lost in thought again, and says, well, these are some of the locations of some of the most priceless pieces of art that would have been lost to time after the bombardment of Brussels. This point is St. Nicholas Church. There are a couple of paintings stored here. This is the Royal Chapel of the Dominican Church, where the Madonna of the Rosary was. Right. So, and then she kind of regains her focus, and then she turns and says, so Peter Paul Rubens is like one of the most renowned Netherlandish painters of that period, had almost a dozen of his classic works lost to the bombardment, several of which he donated to churches and government buildings in the area that were totally destroyed during the New Year's War. These are the locations where some of those most priceless works would have been if they were still standing. All of those buildings were reduced to rubble in late 1695. None of those pieces remain. I guess somebody was trying to do research into what those buildings would have looked like or where they were before that point. Can't possibly determine why, but it's a fascinating observation to make, considering how rare maps that are this close to that period would be. So this is actually very interesting. It's a shame that somebody drew on this very valuable map, or else I would have stored this in this library if you're willing to receive some money for it, but it's technically worthless now, so I guess you can have it back. But yeah, I hope that whatever research you and your colleague were doing, it gets to shed some light on what Brussels looked like before those fires started. That would be really valuable historical work. And then you see the librarian just kind of stare wistfully off in the middle distance, as if to imagine what the future would be like if we still had one of those maps that are closest to that imagining of the city of Brussels. And then she walks away from you.
Interesting. Well, we're already in trouble. So should we use our thing again to see if there's anomalies around there at the time before the bombing? Like maybe there's...
You can do that.
Is that a mistake?
I mean, as you have already noted, you are already in trouble with Timewatch. You can't be in any worse trouble, but it does mean that if that is your consideration, you don't want Dr. Chen to do it. So maybe you or Rita should actually check.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Okay. With Timecraft, in fact, this is where I will say that you will have to spend that point in Timecraft in order to do so. So let's make sure I mark that so I remember. Right. So you check your PDA and you notice that a quality of the exact same kernel instability signature from the Gardner Museum is now prominently taking place in Brussels in August 13th, 1695, somewhere like around like 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening. And it is only there for exactly 20 minutes, like a precise 20-minute and 0-second and 0-millisecond period just before 7 o'clock in the evening on the 13th of August. 1695, there is this very intense, focused flourish of chronal instability in the center, in the middle of the Brussels city center, nearest to a building that would have been known as the Magistrates Hall, which roughly overlaps with the X that is circled on the map. The minute you open that, you notice that there is a notification on your PDA that says, surrender, surrender, surrender. Timewatch agents are closing in on your location now. Please do not resist as you receive your reprimand. You hear the very strong marching of maybe like 6 or 7 feet outside the nearest window of this library. And then for a brief flicker of time, you notice that time stops. You notice that every civilian in the library, for just like a fraction of a second, stopped moving and then continued moving. You haven't seen where those agents are yet, and they haven't seen you, but you know that they're somewhere, and you know that they're looking for you and can track you because you're wearing your autochron. So it's either you're running knowing that they can follow you, or you're time traveling knowing that they're going to follow you to that timeline. Either way, they're going to arrive because they are already here. You are technically already in trouble. So you can either continue this investigation while they're hot on your heels, or you can try to plead with them and hope for the best.
Let's continue.
For
Okay.
the Brussels.
So we are going to time travel to August 13th, 1695 Brussels.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. I need a time travel test from you all. The difficulty is 6. If you fail, you will suffer a chronal instability of 2, which means that you will lose 2 chronal stability. And we will do it in order. I want Sally to roll first.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
Oh, close.
Oh.
Welp.
Okay, I lose 2.
Next is Irida.
Okay. All right. Let's do it. Oh!
Yay! Dr.
And
Chen.
last, Dr. Chen.
Oh!
Yeah, you that's tough. Sally and Dr. Chen lose 2 chronal stability. As you are traveling, you get this brief flicker, like while you are traveling through the tunnel from 1971 Vancouver, Washington to 1695 Brussels. It's almost as if half of you is in one point in time and half of you is in another. If you remember that wonderful scene, that wonderful split camera scene in Everything Everywhere All at Once, where Michelle Yeoh's character is literally looking past itself in 2 different periods of time. Half of you can see a period where the bombardment of Brussels is actively taking place. You are accidentally seeing yourself arriving later than the period in time that you would arrive. You're seeing like 8, 9, 10 p.m. as Brussels is being shelled with cannon fire and actively being lit on fire. You are trapped. It seems like you or the body that you're in is trapped within rubble, like totally about to be annihilated. And the other half is you looking at Admiral Wershing in her office as she's holding up a newspaper that apparently says that in 1695, the bombardment of Brussels never happened, which it has to. It's a canon moment in history. You can't undo an historical event that has been essentially acknowledged through our timeline for more than a century without suffering major chronal instability, the likes of which that would affect hundreds of people all across the world. Which is the reason why Timewatch exists, to ensure that that does not happen. It's also noteworthy because there's no impression that you get from the thing that you're presently investigating that their actions are supposed to do this. So you get the impression that if something goes wrong, it will be your fault, that you have the accidental capacity to change the events of the New Year's War, and if you do so, you will be reprimanded even further, simply for being here. But then that image flickers from your brain. You are still traveling through the time tunnel. 6 Timewatch agents are actively behind you. You can see them. They can see you. When you emerge from this tunnel, they will still be behind you. But you will be inside the Magistrates' Hall moments before the bombardment of Brussels. And you will have enough time to either run from these agents and continue running until you figure out what's happening, or at least talk to them for a brief moment in time and hope that you can charm them enough so they can understand why you decided to do this in the first place. When you realize that, you have now exited the time tunnel and you are now in Brussels. What do you do? They are now physically maybe 20 feet behind you. Just a handful of strides and they will immediately detain you.
How much charm does everyone else have? I only have 1 left.
I can use mine.
Yes, I know that Irida has charm. Does Dr. Chen have charm?
No, I don't have.
Aha. Fitting that someone whose job as a historian has no charm actually sucks for me. But yes. So do you want to spend a point in charm for this?
Yes, please.
Okay. You can act immediately. This happens immediately as you get out of the time tunnel. A Timewatch agent already has his hand sternly on your shoulder.
Okay.
He turns you around and is immediately very sternly looking at you and goes, "Okay, I have no idea what you're up to, but if you don't resist, at least we don't have to rough you up on the way back to HQ. So you're coming back peacefully or you're coming back in a mess. Which would you prefer?" This is where you get to say whatever you want to help them understand why you are here.
I will tell them that my goal is to be peaceful with everyone. We are here for a very important mission that we cannot reveal right now, but trust us that there is a good reason why we are here. And please let us do this, otherwise the world can be turned upside down.
Okay. As you say that, Sally, your autochron pings.
Okay.
It is now automatically counting down from 20 minutes. You have just roughly entered the exact period of the anomaly within this space, which means that 1, you know that whatever is happening right now, and 2, you know from context clues that in 20 minutes, if you do not get out of here, you will die. The bombardment of Brussels will begin and you will be trapped in Magistrates' Hall and there will be nothing that you can do about it.
Okay.
Another agent sees that ping and his immediate response is, "What did you do?"
We haven't done anything. We're just here to try and understand what's going on and who's stealing all of this priceless art and why. And I can't explain why, but we need to just go look around for a few minutes and then leave. And then we'll go peacefully with you. But you can come with us, maybe?
Another agent hears all of that and turns to Dr. Chen, because Dr. Chen is the only historian on this team, and goes, "Did you know something about art being stolen here?"
No.
Dr. Chin.
I'm gonna take
Oh.
that, That agent turns back to everybody else and goes, "If the historian doesn't know, that makes your story quite a bit
Okay.
suspect."
Yes, I do know. Yeah. Sorry, I misunderstood the question. Yes, I do know.
Is this some kind of joke or something? What is happening here? 20 minutes. It's 19 minutes and 15 seconds at this point. Anybody would like to explain exactly what is taking place to this agent, they can do so now.
Can we get out the map real quick?
Yeah. You
And
show
just
them the
show
map.
them like we have this map from this time and there's marks at these spots and we think that maybe a theft is happening here. We're not trying to like do anything or change anything. We just want to like observe. And then we'll get out of here before the bombs drop.
Observe, you say?
Yes.
What rank are you three? You are all crewman first class.
Yes. We're going to stay
Cool.
out of the way. We're just looking.
Okay, understand this. You are just looking. Neither of you is supposed to be armed. As this agent says that, another agent idly notices, Sally, you notice that another agent silently notices that you have a knife and 2 flare guns just draped on your hip idly, and he says nothing. But this agent continues to speak to you and says, all you're doing is observing. Wait, what time period is this? He looks at his autochron, sees that it's August 1695. Are they here for the Rubens paintings? Turns to the other agents. All of them shrug. They are absolutely clueless. You have more information than all of them. So he turns back to the 3 of you and goes, okay, when I say observe, I mean observe. None of you are even equipped to get into an altercation with anybody. If you see anyone venture towards those paintings, you make a ping to a superior agent and you wait until we respond. Don't fight them, don't chase them, don't do anything. And let us know when we're 4 minutes away.
Okay.
And then he makes some directions to 2 pairs of agents to go down separate corridors, takes the 5th agent with him through a door, and essentially gives you the instruction to go to where you know those paintings are supposed to be. You know that on your PDA or on your autochron, because it has already been immediately aware that you have entered a point of chronal instability, but it can give you a rough vantage point of where of what this building looked like just before it was destroyed. So you can look for anything that you want in this moment. And that's when you realize that there are 2 paintings of immediate note as the map comes up on your PDA. They're both paintings by Rubens, and one of them is called Judgment of Solomon, and one of them is called Last Judgment. As that's happening, because Greg just pinged me, because I can't hear the updates of the channel, but he can still hear it. So this is how I know that we just reached 5K. Oh my God, did we just get a donation that I totally missed? Oh my God, I want to see what that donation was. Very, very badly. That's actually really rad. Thank you so very much to whoever made that donation. I really want to be able to shout you out. Hey, that was Kathleen. A 25 donation from Kathleen. Thank you so very much. Oh, multiple donations. I missed a great deal. Oh, yes. Several anonymous donations. I see a donation from Shatamage. I see a donation of $100 from Anonymous that literally says, "Let's go, scientists." They're doing a very wonderful job. I'm very glad. So yes, this has been going well. I apologize for not being able to notice the donation notifications because I cannot hear the thing. But thank you so very much for being here and watching the scientists be cool. Because this has been very rad. But yes, on your autocrons, you know where the Judgment of Solomon and the Last Judgment are. They're roughly on the same corridor on the other side of this building. You can essentially follow two of those agents further down that hall and direct them to that point if you like. And they will enter that space for them in front of you in order to get into that confrontation. And while you are deciding what you want to do, I remind as a result that we are just $500 away from meeting our goal for this year, and I'd like us very much to surpass that goal. So maybe if we could get to 6,000 before the end of this session, just as a gift to the scientists, I think that that would be really, really important. So please, thank you very much. But yes, so do you follow the agents down that corridor and let them know where to get to those paintings?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You and two, the three of you and two ensigns are chasing down this hallway very quickly to get to this other side of the building. You hear the very loud but muffled attempts at shouting from one voice as a very stern British voice says, "Shut it and we'll be out of here as quickly as possible. You could have been my ally and we could have split all of these riches, but instead you wanted to be noble. And that would be your downfall." You hear this like far, far away at the end of this a hallway, as if it is like some turns away from where you are. And as the five of you, the three of you and these ensigns enter this corridor, you see this cloaked figure and the still bound Amelia Earhart leaning against a wall nearby, as this cloaked figure is attempting to lift two framed pictures off the wall of the magistrate's hall by himself. You get the impression that the pirate is supposed to be here to help him, and since the pirate is not here, he is performing the arduous task. Like, these are like heavy gold framed paintings that he is attempting to heave off the wall by himself, and he's having a hard time. The two agents draw their Timewatch issue weapons on him, and I would like everyone to give me a roll of, what do I want from you? Aha. Let me make sure of a thing. I am causing trouble. Apologies. I want to observe how much danger I can put you all in. Just to make sure. Aha. You cannot do the thing. Grand. I need an athletics roll from the three of you when you immediately notice that faster than the agents can draw their Timewatch issue long-range disruptors, this cloaked figure draws two flintlock pistols and fires immediately. These athletics rolls are to see if you get shot.
Can we do stitches now?
You can spend a stitch whenever you like. And you can
Okay.
spend a stitch to restore 2 points to any general ability that you wish.
But you can't like go above what you already have with the stitch.
You can't go above what you already have. Nope.
Okay. I think that helps me then.
Okay, cool. So the difficulty is, this is a narrow hallway. 2 people are in front of you, so maybe they'll get hit first. So the difficulty is 4. But also you don't want these people to die, but you can't save them. I mean, if you roll very high, you might be able to save them, but we're thinking about you first. So we'll let Dr. Chen roll first.
I can spend 2, right?
Yes, you can spend 2. So that will bring it down to 3. I said difficulty 5, right?
4. You said 4.
Right, yes. So that will bring
You
it down
said
to 2.
3.
Okay. Okay, I'll roll. I'll spend 2 and roll. Oh.
I guess it didn't need them.
Mhm.
You respond quickly enough to take one of the other agents in front of you out of the way. One of those shots misses you wide, like it passes all the way down the hall. Irida, please give me your roll.
Oh, I guess I
Hey.
got shot.
Yes, let's figure out the order in which that happens by seeing whether Sally gets shot as well.
Okay,
Sally,
I'm
please
gonna
give me
spend
your.
2. I'm gonna spend 2 as well for
Okay.
athletics, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I am sorry to report that uncharacteristically for a musket, when you realize that it is actually a modified musket, someone put what is essentially the outer shell of a flintlock pistol. What is around what you eventually notice is actually an ordinary revolver. And it fires a medium caliber round that passes through the kneecap of the agent directly in front of Irida and hits both Irida and Sally in the shin. It doesn't break bone, but it did pass straight through your leg. You are now both severely injured.
Okay.
You both lose 1 point of health.
Ouch.
That's going to be difficult for movement. The both of you are probably severely disadvantaged in a fight. And he still has 5 rounds, which means that the person who gets to respond the quickest to attempting to disarm him is Dr. Chen. While he has a brief moment of pause as he looks down to remember which one is a flintlock pistol, which gun is a flintlock pistol, and which one is a revolver. And in that moment, you can get immediately in front of him. You could rush in front of him and attempt to scuffle if you like. Would you do that? Or would you rather not attempt to be in the range of fire?
I'll do that, yeah.
Okay. You rush up to him to get in a fight. Please give me a scuffling roll. Your difficulty is... the difficulty is 4.
Oops.
Hey. You get up in front of him. He doesn't respond in time to shoot you, but you don't hit him. He raises his head just in time to kind of duck sideways from the blow that you would have dealt. But you are still in scuffling range. So you can scuffle again if you like.
Sure.
Aha, with the 5. This is fun. So you have a short range pacifist disruptor on you. It's essentially a part of your autochron. It just kind of senses that whenever you're in a physical altercation, it essentially creates holographic brass knuckles around the fist on your watch. And when it hits an opponent, it essentially responds the way that a taser does. So you hit him in the chin, and several volts of electricity pass all the way through his head. Like you can see his chin briefly change color, and then you see like his eyes roll back, and he's like severely dazed, and then he falls to the ground. The only combatant in the hallway is now down, An agent is severely wounded. Amelia Earhart has tape around her head, around her face. And two of your colleagues are injured. What do the three of you do?
How much time do we have left?
You check your autochron, it's like 13 minutes and some seconds. If you time travel out of here now, you can do that. But because of the alert that is on Sally and Irita's autocrons, if you attempt to do so, it will take you immediately to Timewatch headquarters, and it will take everyone in your immediate vicinity with you.
Can I use my
Okay.
medical?
Yes. So you wouldn't use the medical expertise investigative ability. That would be what you use to determine like how serious an injury is, or how sick an individual with a disease is. If you want to treat an injury, you have to use the medic general ability.
Yeah,
How many points in medic do you have?
I have 4.
Cool. Your difficulty to treat Sally or Irita's injury is 4, and you'll have to make a separate roll for each. Your difficulty to treat the agent's injury is 6.
Yeah, I forgot about agents. Yeah, just
Grand. Who do you treat first?
well, I will spend 2 each. I have
Okay.
4, right?
Right. So that brings both of those rolls down to 2.
Yeah, okay. We'll do Arita and Sally. Yeah.
Right. So we're making 2 separate rolls.
Oops.
No. I appreciate it anyway.
Okay. Bad luck.
Irita's is rushed. You can tell that even though the wound is sealed, some severe internal bleeding is happening that you cannot get to, which you hope that you can deal with when you get back to Timewatch HQ. But for some reason, you get to Sally's injury more or less perfectly fine. It hurts, but that is more or less resolved. The agent looks at you. His kneecap is gone. Like he is bleeding profusely from his leg, and he looks at you as you finish treating. Like he sees you use all of your med kit on only your 2 colleagues and goes, really?
I have a
like
med
he
kit.
he can't walk. Well, yes, you can now perform medic on him. But Irita is now in so much pain that Irita cannot, so it has to be Sally.
Okay.
That roll is 6, by the way.
Okay. So I could burn 1 medic. I only have a medic of 2, but I could at least burn 1 to make it 5.
I mean, you can burn both to make it 4.
Okay, let's do it.
You give him just enough treatment that he can walk. It is still obviously a very, like, he needs severe medical attention, but at least he can stably walk as you now decide to travel back to Timewatch HQ. At which point you all notice that the one uninjured agent turns to his partner. You notice them nod to each other, and you notice that that agent is already entering something on his autochron. You get the impression that he is immediately attempting to take you all to Timewatch HQ.
We should stop it.
Wait.
Are you going to stop him?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
How?
gonna...
Wait, so because the autochron's like a 1-person travel, so can he take
because
Amelia
he is higher
and the person?
because he is higher rank. One, because he is higher rank than you, he can take whoever he wants. He can essentially put an order on his autochron that summons any other Timewatch agents within the vicinity to travel with him. And 2, because Sally and Irita have active alerts on them, any attempt to use their autochron would take them to Timewatch HQ anyway, and already trigger taking as many other people in their immediate vicinity with them. So both of those trips will include the Cloaked Man and Amelia Earhart. And the only person who could possibly make a decision other than that is Dr. Chen. if you do that in the presence of Time Watch agents, you will be in even more trouble than before.
Can you say it again? What's my choice?
You can decide to travel to any other point in time that you want to, but because 2 Time Watch agents are still actively witnessing you all in this time period, they not only will they serve as witnesses to you resisting an official Time Watch reprimand, but one of them still has an autochron and can take you to Time Watch HQ whenever he wants. So if you wanted to do that, you would be in more trouble. The best idea is possibly to let this guy take you to Time Watch HQ, even though you will get in trouble. But you can make another decision if you want. We've been getting ourselves in trouble for so long already. Which would you prefer? Mind you, at this point, you have solved the problem. These paintings are where they're supposed to be. They're about to be destroyed in 16 minutes, but that's what's supposed to happen. So you're done. So what would you like to do?
How do you guys think?
I think you have to decide, right? It's up to Dr. Chen. Or can we
I mean, the both of you can decide as well. It's just if you use your own autocrons, that's going to Time Watch HQ. So really the only thing that you can decide is to ask Dr. Chen to do something. You all can come to an agreement about what Dr. Chen should do. But while that's happening, this other agent is already using his autocron.
But where should we go if we don't go to HQ?
I mean, at some point you need to make this report, and the only way to do that is in HQ, which means that you will suffer some reprimand anyway. But do you want to do it with an officer actively bleeding in front of you? Because you will be responsible for that.
I guess we will go to the HQ. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we maybe like pull the duct tape off Amelia Earhart's mouth before that happens?
You can do that. You walk up to Amelia Earhart as the time tunnel is opening, as the agent who is already on his autocron has already opened that time tunnel. You take the tape off of her mouth as she's looking up at the shade of the time tunnel. A time tunnel is mostly kind of iridescent on the inside. It's just like a long black tube where at the very edges of it, where you can see that it is curving, you can get this very darkly iridescent, bluish, purplish, greenish kind of hue at the edges. Sally, it's only when you notice you start taking the tape off of it that's the color that the wings of the Electra were taking just when it disappeared. This confirms to you that something happened to the Electra that accidentally made it a time machine. And Amelia Earhart looks up at it and goes, "So that's what was happening, huh?" And then tilts her head back down and looks to you and goes, "Are you angels or something?"
Amelia knows nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Time travel doesn't exist. So she's just confused. What she knows is she was suffering some severe hellish consequence for several months, and then 3 people saved her from it using the exact same magic that she was cursed with. She doesn't know how to make sense of that otherwise.
All right.
So
now we're going back to HQ.
Yeah, just as she asks that, you arrive. Typically when a time tunnel takes you to Time Watch HQ, you either arrive at the foyer where you now need to go to whichever offices you're attending to, or you go to the locker rooms where you get to change out of your uniform and like get a shower and debrief before you go home. Instead, you are taken to the judicial office. It's this very large, very wide, very deep office that only has this long, tall table at it, much like a magistrate's desk at a courtroom that is like 30 feet high. And above it, you see 3 of your superiors. You see Admiral Wershing, you see Admiral Hepburn, and you see Admiral Conroy. 3 of the longest serving high rank members of Timewatch are glaring down at you, at 2 of you severely injured, 1 agent even more severely injured, and 2 of you seemingly more or less unscathed, with Sally holding the mildly confused body of Amelia Earhart, and Dr. Chen just leaning just a little bit away from the unconscious body of an unnamed British pirate / thief. As you look up at the table, you see Admiral Conroy snap his fingers, and you notice that Amelia Earhart and the cloaked man are no longer moving. They
So
have
we're in a
been
time.
for this moment, they have been essentially their singular bodies have been time locked.
Mm.
And then Admiral Hepburn, who is on the rightmost edge, it's Admiral Conroy, Admiral Wershing, Admiral Hepburn. Admiral Hepburn looks down at you and goes, "So, I would like to understand why 3 enlisted officers who were asked just 6 hours ago local time to simply observe and report any anomalous details at the Gardner Museum are in Brussels." Would anyone like to answer that question for me? Does anyone have any points in charm remaining?
I have 1 left.
1 is good. You can spend that 1 if you like, if you have something to say. It's going to be tough, but you can.
Can I like add my sense of reassurance? I have 1 point for reassurance. Is that helpful?
I'll give it to you, you know. In fact,
Okay.
here's what I will say. Spend that point of charm,
Mhm.
and then I will tell you what happens with that reassurance after you say what you would like to say to Admiral Hepburn. And while you're deciding what you want to say, apparently we got 2 more $100 donations. Thank you so very much for making the thing happen. We're now at 5,200. So we're $300 away from meeting our goal, and we would like to surpass that if at all possible. So please give the scientists the gift of continuing the bold and brave research that they are doing. If you can, please support Damon Runyon as we now discover what Sally Silverstein is about to tell these very stern admirals.
I only ever meant to continue to observe. We were just trying to understand what was happening with the art and the different anomalies that we saw, and we never meant to engage. We were just trying to like collect information that we could be helpful and give to you, but we never meant to do anything. But we're just like stupid, lowly time watch people, and so we did mess up and engage too much, but it was never our plan. We always just wanted to observe what was happening and report it back to the more qualified, more intellectual higher ups, and that was our only goal. But we did mess up and engage, but that was never our plan.
That wasn't your plan.
Mm-mm.
And yet you did it anyway.
Yes.
You gathered entire valuable pieces of information, valuable leads that could have helped us attempt to solve this problem the right way, according to Timewatch regulations. And instead, you almost got yourself severely injured, possibly severely disabled one of my agents, and could
Can I
have
reassure
very
you?
easily left one of history's most noteworthy canon members of history's timeline, not only in the clutches of a villain if you had failed to intervene correctly, but if it weren't simply for being caught, you would have possibly died in the bombardment without any support. And you're only here mostly because armed officers actually joined you there. Mind you, Admiral Hepburn does not know that neither of these agents actively intervened because one of them was already shot. But she's still mad at you. So please, reassure me that this was absolutely necessary for 3 unarmed, untrained, reckless agents to possibly get themselves so lost in time that I would have seen photos of your charred bodies in encyclopedias. Please reassure me.
Yes, let me reassure you. Our
Right.
plan was
And this
always
is where
to
I tell
just
you that you can
observe.
spend. Right. So when you tell me what this thing is, I want you to make a roll for me.
Mhm.
The difficulty is 7, which is reduced to a 6 because I am asking you to spend this point of reassurance. And if anyone else has any other any charm or reassurance, they
I
can
have a
spend as well.
reassurance.
Right. You can spend it to reduce this for her as well. You can
Sure.
piggyback if you like.
Sure.
So that brings
Okay.
it down to 5.
And me
Do you have any?
I do.
How many points in reassurance or charm do you spend?
I want to spend 1 point in charm and 1 point in reassurance.
Right. So this difficulty has been brought down to 3.
Yes.
Okay.
Tell me what you're going to say first and then roll.
Okay, let me reassure you that our plan was only to observe and report back to the higher ups that know how to properly handle this. And it was completely accidental. We know that we messed up. It will never, ever, ever happen again. And we're all very sorry, and just want to assure you that we didn't ever plan to take on all of this. But also we saw when the people were running away from us, we knew that it's better to, sacrifice the lowly lives of us time watchers to make sure that the timeline stays intact. Then it was important for us to make it out of there. So that's my argument.
Okay.
So I will roll.
Yes. Ha
Hey!
So this is what happens. I love this a lot. This is what I was hoping for. So in that kind of cinematic third act way where the rebellious but obviously noble protagonist gets into the center of this room and gives this impassioned speech about why it was absolutely necessary for you to engage in the way that you did. You say everything that you just said. You give this very deeply noble, impassioned monologue about why it was absolutely necessary to act before anything worse could happen. And you are so wrapped up in this conversation that you do not notice that Commander Bozeman and Commodore Todd are standing right behind you. And the very first thing that Commodore Todd says is, "See, we told you that they would do it." You turn around and you see Commander Bozeman give Commodore Todd $10.
No.
When you turn back around, you notice that now the judicial room is a room in Timewatch. You've seen it before. You've never been punished here before, but you know what it looks like. So it immediately like baffles and confuses you when you notice that the edges of a hologram around the decking of the ceiling start fading, and you notice the entire facade of the judicial room fade. You are not in the judicial room. You are actually in a training room. Admirals Worthing, Hepburn, and Conroy were not standing high above you. They were actually sitting on plastic chairs right in front of you, just waiting to see what would happen. You look down and you notice that the bodies of this cloaked figure and Amelia Earhart are now like green wireframes of what are essentially like 3D models of real people. And you notice that the agent that was severely injured is somehow severely injured, but is not like bleeding or like has like lost bone matter. Like he essentially suffered the equivalent of being hit on the knee with a heavy stick. Both of you still are somehow confused at the fact that you are still somehow shot, but you notice that you are not bleeding profusely anymore. There's still like a wound in your leg, but you're not bleeding anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Admiral Worthing, in the center of these now just plastic chairs sitting in the idly in this training room, goes, you know, every time we run this exercise, we get people who are absolutely unwilling to bend the rules even a little bit. People who are so cowardly in response to authority that they refuse to just volunteer information that they've gleaned because they're worried that just looking at evidence the wrong way is going to get them punished. And people who will actively see villainy take place right in front of them and refuse to act even when lives are at stake. As far as we can see from this test, and you can see that she's holding her PDA and actively looking at what seems like training data from this exercise. And she looks at it and goes, as far as I can glean, there are parts of this entire case that we prepared for you that you still have not identified. None of you even learned this guy's name yet. But you knew that someone was in danger and you acted. And that's actually kind of admirable. It's rare for us to see people so early in their service to Timewatch who are willing to lean into getting in trouble a little bit if it means actually doing the right thing. So with that being said, we apologize for keeping this incredible secret from you, very obviously, but this was a kind of audition, if you will. At some point, when you are finished with your ordinary service as crewmen, we would like to invite you to actually be officially trained in the Commissioned Academy for Timewatch and possibly earn your real promotion to ensigns, and therefore actually get real cases, some of which will be more difficult than this one, some of which you will be required to actually be able to state in your report who was responsible for doing wrong. Again, it's kind of amazing that none of you ever learned who this guy was. But an opportunity to do real work and not just be cast aside for your superiors every once in a while. If you're willing to put your head down and actively study some of the most grueling practices of your life, we will be putting you through the ringer, but an opportunity to do real-time watch work if you're up to it. What do you three say?
Yes, absolutely. Would be an honor.
Grand. Again, it's going to be some months. You still have a lot of grunt work to do still, but when school opens, you're all going to have the first 3 seats. You will learn more information about that as soon as the academy is available, but until then, you are free to return to your homes, as it were.
Yay!
Oh,
High five!
thank you so much.
And we cut very briefly to a very awkward epilogue where on August the 18th, 1990, you are called back again while still as crewmen, because you still haven't finished your crewman service, called back to the Gardner Museum, finally to determine whether there was any connection to that first anomaly and the actual heist. And you stand there very awkwardly. Mind you, everything that you've done previously was an exercise, but you are now presently still at the Gardner Museum, the actual Gardner Museum, where you see 2 very awkwardly costumed men walk through the loading door of the Gardner Museum. They immediately meet 2 Timewatch agents dressed as guards, who stand there menacingly, and you see they throw the hoods back that these men are wearing to reveal their faces, to reveal that it is the exact same cloaked figure that you stopped in Brussels and the pirate. And for a moment, it just kind of dawns on you that not only was it an exercise, but it's almost immediately possible to you that maybe the exercise was also just an opportunity for someone to do their research scut work for them behind their backs, so they could just come here and get the bad guys without having to do any extra work. And you have helped them do that, and you just kind of notice that idly. And one of the agents looks to you, nods, and the minute that he begins nodding, you notice that it has begun to rain again. And that's where we end this one shot of Timewatch. Thank you so very, very much for joining us this evening. I would like to ask, because this is my first time running Timewatch, but I'm obviously very curious how you all felt about playing not only Timewatch, but I imagine that this was the first time that you've played a TTRPG in general. So I hope that this was a pleasant experience for you, but I would like to hear what you all thought about the session itself, starting with Ryu.
It's very very interesting. I look forward to actually playing more in the future. You did an awesome job. I cannot imagine how hard for you to remember all this, and actually responds very very well to all this. Our actually yeah, sometimes we do some surprising acts, but you did an awesome job. Yeah. I
Thank
really
you
look
so very
forward
much.
to yeah, maybe one day we can play with you again in the future.
I would be open to this. Maybe we can figure out what happens next in this crew of Timewatch agents in the future.
Yeah.
Leslie, how did you feel about the game?
Yeah, I thought it was super fun. I feel like I played D&D once very long ago, and I feel like I really liked about this that I actually kind of felt like I was learning some stuff, like when you were going through all of the different historical events, and I just luck guess the Rembrandt. Like, I think that's a very cool historical act that I had no idea even happened in the first place. And so I feel like I'm gonna remember that forever. So it was fun to like learn a little bit while we were going along historically. And I feel like I could have done a better job of like using my abilities. Like I feel like there's so many fine print on my like character sheet I keep looking at that I'm like, I should have done more tinkering or something like that. But maybe that would be easier in a longer campaign situation than a one shot to like get more out of your stitches and your like special boosters and stuff.
Yeah, I was actually surprised, like when I was hinting that you could make an actual boat if you wanted. I was hoping that you would lean into tinkering as a result, but we got into more hilarious shenanigans as a result of you not doing that. So I'm actually quite grateful that that did not happen. Yes.
I hope I haven't looked at the chat. Hopefully he has forgiven us.
Greg, I feel like we briefly insulted Greg's entire family. Like Greg's like, that was my boat. Greg does not live anywhere near the water. Like that's not yeah, but yes. And Vivian, how did you feel about the game?
First of all, I love the storyline so much. I was completely engaged in, and I had so much fun. Thank you so much for being such an awesome master of the game. And I also feel really lucky to have two awesome teammates. And I like how Dr. Chen stays so calm through this whole time, and how Leslie can be like so quick thinking, and then especially like every her response just surprised me, and I was just, oh, I wish I can be as smart as her. So I just want to thank you all for this wonderful experience. I feel like this is going to be in my dream tonight because I just had so much fun.
I'm glad that I could give you hopefully what will be a very energetic and very interesting dream. Maybe you will learn even more about the cool characters that you were playing this evening.
I look forward to it.
But since we technically have a great deal more time, I do want to give you this opportunity again. Sadly, I missed the interview that you did early last week. But this is your one final opportunity to petition all the lovely people in chat, let the people know the cool work that you are doing for Damon Runyon and why it is very important to continue supporting the Damon Runyon Cancer Research Foundation. Please feel free to say anything to the lovely people as we continue to try to inch our way towards this year's goal of 5,500. Anything that you want to tell these lovely people about your work, about the work of your peers, about the bold and brave efforts of Damon Runyon.
Anybody want to go first? I can go first. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm just wrapping up my first year of being a Damon Runyon Fellow, and being a part of this group has been incredibly inspirational and motivational for me. There's so many diverse angles of cancer research, and I think Damon Runyon really embodies like creativity and taking your own perspective on research. And I have found that really, really, motivational and inspiring to push forward on my own research and just like develop relationships with new scientists and like find new ways to ask for help and further our own research. And that's all made possible kind of through both the network of Damon Runyon and just kind of the empowerment of having a fellowship like this that comes with it. And so this support is huge. And I mean, I think probably everyone watching right now knows the turmoil of scientific funding that's happening. And just to know that our work is still valued and that there's people that believe in what we're working on is huge. And so thank you for all of your support thus far and continued support, hopefully. And thank you all for organizing this amazing fundraiser and pushing us scientists to continue to be brave and bold in new situations, including role-playing games. And so, yeah, that's my, I think that's the key points I want to get across.
Vivian, would you like to say anything?
Oh, I just want to echo whatever Leslie say. I think she summarized it beautifully. I just want to thank everyone who had contributed so far because it's incredible support for us as scientists. And every day when we were working on the bench and we would think about your contribution and then how much it means to us to work on questions that will perhaps one day help us all. And thank you so much for your support.
And Royu, would you like to add anything?
Sure. I want first of all thank everyone here and thank you for all your support. And it's really, really important for us to have the support to do our research. And I would say that I think Damian is probably the best option for you if you want to really support cancer research because they really has the greatest version in the world to support the best kind of science to really tackle the most important question in cancer research right now. So yeah, that's I think that's really, really important to pick the good people and the important question to address. Yeah, thank you all, and it's really a very fun experience, and thank you, everybody. Yeah.
As for me, I will say before when I started being a part of ArvCon, I didn't feel like I was that uniquely attached to the affliction of cancer. Like everybody knows that cancer sucks, but it's hard to be in a position to say that it really affects you until it affects you or someone that you care about. But I've had colleagues who have had cancer. I've had personal friends very recently who have who presently are either very fortunate. I'm very fortunate to say of those people that they have either gone into remission or have discovered that what they thought was potentially cancer was in fact not. But I've also had one close family friend pass away from cancer in my childhood. That it didn't occur to me that was the case until I had because we barely even talk about these things so much. They suck so much until you realize that it's actually affecting people that you care about. Like one of the if anybody had actually noticed, the names of the superiors that I was calling through this game were actually the names of celebrities who had in fact passed away from cancer. Chadwick Boseman, Audrey Hepburn, Annie Wershing, who in a lot of those cases even were people who were holding back their diagnosis because they were afraid of what it would feel or how it would affect their ability to work or would affect their personal relationships. And being able to potentially bring about a future world where that is not a concern that people have anymore. That being able to survive cancer, being able to withstand the worst effects of it when you discover it, and being able to move past it fully in remission could be a thing that we could live in that we could experience in the future, is a thing that is only possible when people who care about doing that research do it. I know even though Greg is not in the sciences, as an academic, I know he also feels a lot about the kinds of attacks that academic work gets in the real world these days as a result of other people's wickedness, the wickedness and ignorance of people who are not themselves academics. So seeing that there is a community of people who want to ensure that this research is done, are committed to the idea not only that the research is valuable, but that when the research is done, it will bring us to a future where one of these days we will never think about cancer again, is, I think, one of the most noble things that we can do. I'm very grateful to be a part of that kind of work here. All I get to do is roll digital dice, and I get to be a part of what helps you all get the resources necessary to continue doing this work. I am not a hero here. You all are heroes, and I'm glad to have the opportunity as a result to gather you all here for 3 hours to think about traveling through time instead, moments before you get to go back to doing the brave and bold work that you are presently doing. So with that, I would like to let Greg re-summon himself into the space to hopefully say his last words to everyone present, to bid all of you adieu as we spend our last few minutes hoping to finally get to 5,500 and hopefully beyond. You can raise a lot of money in 25 minutes, I guarantee you. Like, it's not hard for us to cross 5,500, but I'd like very much for us to get there. But without further ado, Greg, would you like to add anything?
I am prepared. Thank you so much, Brandon, and thank you to all of the scientists as always for a really fun game. I want to state for the record that I actually live literally, you can see the ocean outside my
Right, you
window.
live-
And Brandon,
But
who
you're
has
not
been at my
the
house
edge.
not once
You're not
but
at the edge of
twice.
the water is what I mean. You're not at the edge of the water is what
I
I mean.
have 2 kayaks, sir, and one of them was stolen by your players. No, I'm kidding. It was very funny. No, but it was really enjoyable, as it always is, and I really am grateful. Again, co-sign completely what Brandon said about the bold, brave work that you folks are doing. We are only 275 away. I will try to rally the troops to get us the last way over my wrap up in the next 10 to 15 minutes. But thank you so much to the scientists. I'm going to let those go. You let the cash in the boat. That's good. I love the fact
you can't spend US in Brussels since 1695.
No, it's true. It's true. And it was funny too, because like the minute that happened, Prince Justin in chat's like, is this Kobayashi Maru? I'm like, it absolutely is Kobayashi Maru. It's like 100% that way. Or Perks the Pilot, where there's a sequence just like this. Anyway, very, very cool. Wonderful storytelling from Brandon, as always. Not surprising. Thank you, Brandon. And again, thank you so much to the scientists. Can we get some love chat one more time for the Damon Runyon Cancer Research Foundation scientists? Thank you to Dr. Leslie Day, to Dr. Rio Wong, and to Dr. Vivian Chu. Thank you all so much. And yeah, anytime you folks want to be back to play some more, listen, I'm sure I can get Brandon to agree. I would be happy to do it. But thank you so much, everybody. Timewatch 2. All right, I'm going to say goodbye to all you folks. Thank you so much. Bye again. All righty. And here I am. That was awesome. That was a great time. It was really funny when all of a sudden I was like, because I'm like, like doing stuff where I'm like checking in donation amounts, and I'm making sure that I post it on social media, and I'm checking in with mods and whatever. And then in the middle of it, I just hear like, oh, this boat was Gregory Wilson's. I'm like, I was like, what? And then to hear that I don't live near the water, to hear that my grandpappy's boat is not something that you could just steal my boat. No, it was great. Chad, thank you again to the Rising Tides for a great session. And that was fun. I had never seen Time Watch being played, but it was a lot of fun, and it did remind me a lot of those cool sequences in Voyagers and things like that, the old 80s show, where you're trying to actually sort of put time back in place. So, folks, as we come to just hold on, just stealing my boat. Let's take my boat like it's nothing. We are here, as we said last night, we are here at the end of all things, but we are here at the end of ArvCon 2026, which means as I'm in the process of wrapping up, we still can get to where we need to get to. We're $275 away. That's it from hitting the goal of $5,500. I will say that we have already passed what we made last year. In fact, we have already surpassed that by about $120-ish right now. So we are really, really close. And I would love if we could get the rest of the way to that 5,500 goal. We are very close. And it gives me a chance to, while we're talking about this, the chance is still there to donate. Please do. The scientists are putting boat acquisition techniques on their CVs. Yes, totally agree. Wonderful players, and it was a lot of fun. All quote-unquote first-timers, and they all did a great job, which is not surprising. Scientists always do super well for this. I do want to mention, by the way, that just briefly off of ArvCon for 1 second, that if you want to see these scientists in person, and if you are on the West Coast, specifically in the Bay Area of the West Coast of California, may I recommend that you check out next month, June 27th, Saturday, a little bit over a month from now, Zach Clay and I are going to be running something that we call Role Play by the Bay. It is going to be a special one-day event. It is going to feature 3, possibly 4, actually, I think we're hoping maybe 4, but at the least 3, Damon Runyon Cancer Research Foundation scientists who are going to be there live and in person. And the way it's going to work is that I am in the morning of this event, which is being held at the something happened dramatically. That was $10. Yes. Keep it up. We're almost there. Thank you, Anonymous, for that donation. We are almost there. $52.35. We are only $265 away. Thank you. So, and by the way, one other thing before I get back to roll the digression on the digression, if you like what you saw from Brandon O'Brien, Brandon is the lead designer of the Greyshade TTRPG based on my Greyshade world. And so you definitely should check that out, ! Greyshade, if you want to pre-order that. I should mention it since Brandon got to show off how awesome he is. But again, Roleplay by the Bay. In the morning, we're going to be having the scientists there. We're going to do a brief Q&A with them, and then they are going to do a one-shot with me. I am going to run a one-shot for them in front of a live audience of people at the San Francisco Public Library on the morning of June 27th, Saturday. And then in the afternoon of Saturday, we'll have a break for lunch. And then in the afternoon, we will have Zach will be running a one-shot for the teens who were a part of his program. Oh my God, something else just happened. Okay, we got a $50 donation, sending love, and then I got another $10 donation from so thank you to Anonymous for that. Sorry about stealing your boat, Anon. That's tremendous. Sorry about stealing your boat, Anon. That is amazing. Okay, let me see if I can get that all together. So if we did all that right, that means that now we are up to should be $42.95, I believe, is what I'm looking at. $42.95, I think, is where it's at. $52.95, I think, is what we're looking at. If I got that right, yes, should be $52.95. Oh no, I know, I appreciate that, Drew. But so we are now only $205 away. $205 away from our goal of $5,500. But so they will be, Zach will be doing this for the folks in the afternoon during that live event on June 27th for the folks who are part of his teen program that he runs at the San Francisco Library for at-risk teens. So we have got two really good causes, two great organizations. Damon Runyon is going to be helping us out. They will be sending some scientists our way. We will be trying to promote them as much as we usually do, and hopefully we might even get some donations sent their way. This is not going to be a donation-based event where we're going to be like trying to reach a certain goal, but it is going to be something where we're going to be featuring those Damon Runyon players, and so Damon Runyon scientists. So that is going to be happening again Saturday, June 27th, as soon as I am done and recovered with ArvCon over the next week. Once we get into June, I'm definitely going to be talking about that next event because it's really exciting. Super, super excited for all of that. Now, what I want to talk about, having gone through that, is I just want to mention, I have to send some thank yous out as we hope that we get that last bit. Good to see you again, Crit Twitch, as always. Don't be a stranger. Hope we get to see you again, but it's good to have you here. So first of all, I want to thank all of those folks there, and those are the sponsors. Alligator Alley, Entertainment, Athos Arts, of course, Catalyst Game Labs, Fatbot Games, Freely, GOG.com, Nomad Games, and Tin Mad Games, 8 sponsors that all gave us lots and lots of giveaway stuff and things and codes and promoted this. All of them, many of them have been doing this for many years, and I'm really grateful to all of them who were able to do it this year. That really makes a difference to an event like this. And so we're really grateful to them for being willing to support us. You should support them. They are good companies all. And they are all worth your time and attention. I also want to thank the folks who donated to the top donor award, and specifically the person I want to sort of call out here. Let me just remind everyone, this is still open. Hillness is in the lead, but it is not yet guaranteed completely. This is going to go to the top donor. This, along with a prize pack of the Dragonbane core rules and also multiples of my books and things like that, plus a set of dice. But this right here is the Olympic Cascade Mountain Range. And right up here, you can see for scale are the human beings standing next to it. This is a photograph from our very own Prince Justin. And it is also the background for the 13th Icon campaign that he runs on my channel. And it's awesome. And it's also printed on metal. It's got this stand. And there is a fresh one of this, not touched by my hands, that is still wrapped and waiting to go to the person who is the top donor. So I want to thank Prince Justin and everyone who contributed codes. Ramir contributed a code. We had other folks that contributed game codes as well. Hillness has done this so many times. So thank you to Prince Justin, and thank you to all of those sponsors and donors. Second, of course, I want to thank all of the people who played. And if you look down at that event sheet, you will see what that was like. We had our first ever pre-show on Thursday with Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks. And I want to thank Toya Kristen Finley, and I want to thank LaShawn Amwanek, and I want to thank Rihanna Rhiannon held. And I want to thank, of course, Zach Clay again for being the ones to get this started off right. In fact, they ended up raising over $1,000 during both the pre-show and day one. They were the early leaders in the clubhouse for the top earning segment of ArvCon. So I'm really grateful to them for getting things started. It's a great campaign with a lot of great players. Then Saturday, day two, we had the interview with the Damon Runyon Cancer Research Foundation scientists. And this technically that we're doing now is still part of that scientist segment. So again, any money that remains, again, we only got $205 left. $205 left to get the rest of the way. That $205 would go to the scientist total. The scientists made their interview, and I'd have to check and see how much, but they made a few hundred during that. And then we raised a fair bit during this part of the game as well, during this part of the day, I should say day four. So I want to thank again so much. Oh my God, something else just happened. We just got $55 donation. It's a coming. I can feel it a coming. So 55 means that brings us up to $53.50. We are now only 150 away, everybody. 150 away from our goal. Remember, the Tiltify goal there is $300 shy because we had a $300 matching challenge, which we immediately met. And once we met it, they donated directly to Damon Runyon. I have the receipt, the receipt that shows the donation that went in, but it wasn't done through the Tiltify. So that's why the Tiltify is lagging our actual amount. We have $53.50. We're $150 away. And Team Order is very much in the driver's seat. I agree. So the scientists did an amazing job, and I want to thank the three that you just saw for being so kind with their time and generous. And again, Brandon and I had the same reaction. At one point, I think it was Vivian who was kind enough to say, like, you're the real heroes here. And I was like, I appreciate it, but no, you folks are the real heroes here because of the work that you do every day. And of course, the folks at Damon Runyon who work so hard to be able to keep this going. And I do want to thank again, I will do this again, but Megan McCain, and I want to thank the folks over at Damon Runyon. Megan I've worked with for a number of years now and is just so enthusiastic and so kind. And the Damon Runyon folks are just good people. It's just good people. It's a good organization. And I've told this story before. One of the reasons that I got connected with them when I was first looking for a charity to support many years ago, one of the reasons for this is because my mother, as many of you know, was a off-Broadway actress and actually toured in the Sound of Music touring company around the country. She went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. And so when I heard that one of the ways this charity raised money is by selling theater tickets, it felt right to me. And just sort of the connection there, at which point I started looking into them, and I liked everything about them. Supporting young people, which is I have great love for the energy and the vitality and the enthusiasm that we get, and the optimism, the joy that we can get from so many young people who I've worked with for many years. So that really spoke to me. The idea of taking big swings and working on really smart research, there's that as well. They cover their overhead in other ways. The gift goes right to the scientists. That's another reason I like them. Damon Runyon is good people, and your money is well spent when you go to them. And again, their money directly led to their research support, directly led to the HPV vaccine, which is just one example of many examples of something which saved tens of thousands of lives. And so that was hugely important to me in making this choice, and I'm so glad they're a great organization. So 5350, we've got 100. Oh my God, what's that? Oh, Shatter. Oh, thanks, dude. Listen, you didn't have to do. Oh man, thank you, Shatter Mage. I know. Listen, I know it's not easy to do that, but we are there. Shatter Mage brought us the rest of the way. Shatter with multiple donations this time. Thank you, Shatter Mage. I hope that was okay for you to do that, but thank you. We did it. I knew we could. I had a feeling we could. I knew we would be able to. Oh, geez. But wait. And Nonstop adds $1.23. Let's go. Chaos is back. Let's go. 5301.23. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Thank you, Nonstop. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Shatter Mage. We did it again. Once again, we have done that. I love that. Let's go. Thank you so much. I'm so honored that people do this. Shatter, I hope that was okay for you to do, but as Shatter talked about, and this is not talking out of school, Shatter Mage lost his mother to cancer. I lost my mother to cancer. I lost my oldest friend to cancer a couple of years ago. I lost several dogs to cancer. And I have also, in addition to that, known so many people who survived, who made it, who lived, who have had their lives improved through this research. And so I also want to say that this wasn't just, oh wait, I actually put the wrong amount in there. It should be 5501. Thank you very much. How about me doing my math? 5501.23. So this makes just such a huge difference to everybody, to being able to do this work, both in the memory of those we've lost, but also in honoring those that were saved. Marie talked about this during our session yesterday, about one of Carrie's relatives who passed away from cancer, and another one who has survived. And so I'm so happy about that. Never a doubt. Oh yeah, I had a feeling we were close enough that we would get there. But again, Damon Runyon, I just cannot say enough good things about them, and I'll say one more thing about that at the end. Incidentally, this is the part, you better be ready for this, because this is the part where I always get somewhat emotional and just incredibly grateful to the best community on Twitch and beyond. So let me finish up saying thanks to these folks. I want to thank, and again, you could still donate during this time. Thank you to, oh, we got something else? Per Una Vida Bella. From Dragon Spear, another person who is awesome. 5234, which means 5534. Let me see. 553456. 34.56. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Dragon, so much. It would be cool if that bar up there, that blue bar, ended up also reaching so that Tiltify also thinks we made it, even though we already know that we did because of 300. But thank you, Fleos. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we did. We did indeed. So I want to thank again the scientists for all the work they did, both in their play and in the interview, and for everything they do on a regular basis. I want to thank our vocalists. Zach, again, who was tireless, did all that work with Expedition, and then again, put together a really wonderful one-shot for the vocalists. This time I jumped out of the GM seat into the player seat, and it was me and Rem and KP and Indy, this time exploring a broken down freighter. Had a little bit of a space theme, actually. A lot of broken ships this time. Prince Justin must have felt something in the water. But that was really an awesome, tons of fun to do that too, and was really cool. I really enjoyed that also. By the dice roll, then Ghosts of Saltmarsh raised a good amount of money there also. At one point, they made a big charge. Undeveloped Bruce was a big contributor during that segment, but we had a lot of folks that jumped in during the By the Dice Roll. So I want to thank, as always, those wonderful folks, Darksaber 2K. I want to thank Inanda. I want to thank Pyron Jade. I want to thank Undeveloped Bruce. And I want to thank Fleos and Wholesome Hard Gaming, who's not able to join us, but I think I got all those, right? Pyron, Darksaber, Fleos, Inanda, Undeveloped Bruce. Yeah, I got them all. They were great. As always, I was so glad to get back into that session with them and to be able to have something that was good, and it was European time friendly somewhat, even though I know it was late for them. So I appreciate them staying up to do that. That was great. Then we had our concert, and I'm really grateful to Kilgore Trout and to Indy for keeping our music tradition going. We started the concert probably 5-6 years ago, and we've always had a combination of some folks generally that come from the outside of the community that haven't been played with us before, other ones there, and all this sort of thing. We've done all of these sorts of things. Yeah, don't forget to sign up for the giveaway, folks. You can be part of the giveaway because there's a lot of good giveaways going on right now. So the music thing, I'm a musician myself. I love it when we can sort of honor musicians. And Kilgore Trout put together a great set, as always, with a couple of new songs I hadn't heard before. Indy, of course, put together a great set, as always. I was looking back through some old ArvCons and seeing what Indy did there, so that was awesome, too. So I'm so grateful to Kilgore Trout and to Indy for that on Saturday night. And then, of course, we had the Community D&D with the Shadow Crew EX. And the Shadow Crew, this happened a couple years ago that Community D&D has started to jump in, and so it was great that we had the Shadow Crew with It's Barrymore and Mayor Emmy to go along with our typical the Shadow Crew on this channel, which is Gubby, also known as Yoi Gawain Lin, and also, oh my God, it's a truck, also known as Hoodie, and also Drew the Damager, and of course Tilted Gaming. Those folks with Shadowed Mage DMing, that is always a great time. I really enjoy that crew, both here and over on Shadow's channel. And I want to give another shout out too, for making all the overlays that you saw today. All of these things, like, for example, this awesome overlay and this awesome overlay, and the splash screen that you see. Shadow did a great job with that also, but I'll talk more about the mods when I get there also. So thank you to everyone who played with the Shadow Crew EX2, and thank you also to all the folks who did the after parties. Drew the Damager did one, Shatter Mage did one, Tilted Gaming did one. Thanks for everybody who does those after parties. I understand we may have a couple going on tonight after the main event happens. So any extra donations that people can give, over the next day or so is always appreciated. I would love nothing more than to see that happen too. So I'm so grateful to all those folks for being awesome and continue to support this too. Sunday, day 3, yesterday was our marathon session. It was wonderful in many ways. First of all, it was a great finale because of the wonderful players who played in it. And also, we raised over $2,000 yesterday. The winner of the highest earning segment was definitely this time the D&D with Infinity and Beyond folks. And that was great to see. I really enjoyed playing that so much with them. Our level 1 to level 20 campaign ended, I'd say, fairly epically. We do have a post-mortem episode that we'll be doing, but the main action ended, and so I want to thank all of those wonderful folks with Trent Sparks and with Marie Bilodeau and with, again, Brandon O'Brien, who you just saw, and with Jennifer Brozek, who you saw earlier today as well. And also with John Helfers. So grateful to all of them. They've been my longest running crew, the Infinity and Beyond crew. And it was great to see that session come to an end and to see how much money was raised from them. Finally, today, I want to thank the lovely folks who made up both of our sessions. First of all, Prince Justin, who GM'd a Traveler Poseidon Adventure One-Shot, which turned out to be hilarious, mostly because everyone was like, motives, like everyone goes in a different direction. Motivations are all different, and it was great to see that. I already mentioned Jen, but of course we also had Dan, who does some contributions to Skiffy and Fanty. We had Configuration Queen and Triffity Mats, of course, who are well known to folks on this channel. And we also had Alphabet Streams, who came with us, came to play as well. And so we got all of those folks together with Prince Justin GMing. It was really a blast, and I really enjoyed sort of watching those folks go, and they raised some money too, which was great. And then finally, of course, what you just saw before I came on to start this wrap up, the Damon Running Cancer Research Foundation scientists doing the tabletop role-playing game of Timewatch with Brandon O'Brien GMing. I'm so grateful to all 3 of those scientists you just met for all their work, as I said, in the game and elsewhere. I also want to thank the mods. Oh my goodness, the moderators did so much incredible work, and I just in so many ways. Dragon Spear, who made the original spreadsheet for this and did a lot of help with giveaways and mod monitoring coverage. Drew was jumping in and out all weekend doing stuff like that. Hillness was not only here with mod support, but also is probably, it looks like, going to be the top donor and is always incredibly generous. I'm so grateful for that. Prince Justin, what can I say? Hugely valuable in mod coverage for a lot of this event, and also did the GMing for Traveler and was the first donor, by the way, to this year's ArvCon. So I'm grateful. You are the bod squad. Yes, the best bods in the business. Exactly, Dragon. And so much thanks to Prince Justin. Of course, Shatter Mage, who just brought us over the top by getting us to that $5,500 goal. Thank you again, Shatter Mage, for everything. Tilted Gaming, who has been here for most of the last couple of days doing everything. Such a good dude, by the way, Tilted. Can I just say, I'm lucky that all of my mods/bods are good people, but I just want to spend a special shout out to a guy who is just always a genuine, authentic, good person. I just want to say that up front. I've known Tilted for a long time, since when his name was Duty Calls. He runs a farm, and I just found out that his brother and sister play tabletop games with him. I mean, no one ever saw it to tell me. But Tilted is just good people, and you should all go to his streams and support him. He's a good guy. So thank you, Tilted. I appreciate it so much. I want to thank Triffity Mets. What can be said that has not already been said? As Shakespeare said, to crown you all in particular, so that all your acts are queens. Triffid has been tireless. Last year did a lot of this not on her own entirely, but did a lot of coverage. But Triffitt did so much good work here, put together, actually put in the elements into the spreadsheet, reorganized them, did all this kind of stuff. And so and then also played, as if that weren't enough, also played earlier today. So I'm so grateful to Triffitt. I'm glad this time we were able to work all the mod coverage so that it was not, I hope, as an exhausting experience for any individual mod, I really hope. But I'm really grateful to Triffitt, who's been a wonderful assistant as well in getting scheduling done for me over the last couple of years. I really have appreciated her wisdom and thoughts and assistance. And so thank you, Triffitt, as always. And of course, I want to thank the Rising Tides, who is here too, because the Rising Tides is awesome people, obviously a good friend of mine who is a wonderful game designer and a GM. And so I'm grateful to Brandon for his gaming as well. So I want to spend special thanks out to the mods. The mods do such a great job of keeping the right tone in chat without being draconian, and that's all on them. So thank you so much to the mods for this. Last but certainly not least, I want to thank all of those. I want to thank all the folks who raided. I should mention that too. I also want to thank Echo Alpha X5, who brought in a lot of those raids. Echo is always very good about doing that around this time of year, and so I'm very grateful to Echo for that. Thank you, Echo. And to anyone who raided or who brought in raids or who spread the word and let people know, you're all a part of this success story, and I really am grateful for that too. So thank you for all that. Last of all, of course, what I want to do, this is my clarion call to arms, if you will. I want to thank all of the folks again at Damon Runyon, and I want to thank all of you who made this possible, specifically the donors to this event. And the donors event that I think... The reason that I think this event is so important, the reason that it's so important that we have something like this, as I've said many times, is not just this cause. This cause is critically important. It's personally important to me. And I know, as we've said, it's touched so many of you, but it's not just about this. It's that in a world in which we are continually being told, whether it is through the depredations of Gen AI, which pretends to replace humanity with ease, or whether it is those in political circles who want to tell you that we are more separate than we think, that we're more different than we think, that we're more apart from each other than we think, that we have fewer similar desires than we think. For all of those who want to scream and yell and shriek and yammer rather than sitting down and doing the work that needs to be done, for all those who have said that we are breaking apart as a group, I have said every year I have done this event that this event is a small example of how absurd, ludicrous, and frankly, how much of a lie, a bald-faced lie that claim is. This is not just about raising $5,534.56 to benefit Damon Runyon. This is about getting a group of people together to say to the world, many of whom have never met each other in person, we as a community come together with games, with music, with giveaways, but most of all with community and love to be able to connect with each other and do something together that we could not do individually alone. It is because we come together in common purpose for something like this that we prove we can come together for common purpose with something else. And so every year when I finish this, I always say, first, thank you and congratulations. Look, we did it again. We did do it again. We have now raised over $45,000 for Damon Runyon. On some ways, that seems like a small little drop in the bucket for an organization that has millions of dollars that it needs to raise every year. But in another way, it's hugely important because, as they have told me themselves, ArvCon has sort of gotten adopted a little bit by Damon Runyon because this is something which does provide morale to the folks that see that we're trying, that we're pulling together, that we're making some kind of tangible difference. And that is demonstrating not just cancer research's ability to draw money, but all of us as a community's ability to come together. And so I want to say, as we think together about what we want to do next, I want to give you all a challenge too, that as you first of all sit in the warmth of this and say, man, we did it again, I also want you to go forth and take that feeling to members of your own communities, to your own families, to your own neighborhoods, to your own schools, to your own churches, to your own places of worship, to your own food banks, to your own places that you go where you see other people around, to your baseball fields, to your concerts that you might be going to your basketball courts that you go play play some games on, to whatever it is, to your, game store where you go play some Magic, wherever you go to. I want you to take this feeling and I want you to be thinking about that and talking about it positively to others. When they say, nothing really matters anyway, you say, but that's not true. There are things that matter. I was part of something that raised money for cancer research, and it worked. It really worked. We really came together. Yes, we can collectively do something for the community, for the people around us, for parts of the world that don't have that ability to be able to raise those things for themselves. Yes, we are our brother's keeper, our sister's keeper, our families and friends keeper. Yes, we are parts of that community. And an event like this is something we can show them tangibly to demonstrate that this is something that proves we are stronger together in a community forum. And so I am very moved thinking about what my mother must be imagining wherever she is, what my father might be imagining wherever he is, but especially those who have lost their lives to this, what my friend, what my mother, the people who I care about deeply, what they must be thinking now, what they would be thinking now in seeing something like this come together. And I want you to take that warmth and recognize that this is a success for everybody, for all of us, the donors, the mods, the organization, the players, the sponsors, the people who posted on social media. All of the folks who worked together to make this happen are the ones who brought us that total and who brought us this feeling that we can do things together. In that spirit, in that deeply committed feeling of love that I have for all of you, I want to thank you again from the bottom of my heart for doing this. I hope those of you who enjoyed this experience will come back tomorrow, which is not an ArvCon event. It's just going to be a regular stream day during which I'm going to be chilling out and hanging out with my good friend Tari and doing some game book illustrations and talking more about this. I hope you will be part of our community going forward. I hope you'll join our Discord. But regardless, if I don't see you again until next year, I want to thank you all so much and everyone who participated in making this exactly what it is. One more time, we have passed our goal. We did raise money to benefit Damon Runyon, and we beat our goal. And I'm so grateful to all of you for making that a possibility and making it happen. You all did this, folks. And in that spirit and in that love, thank you so much to Damon Runyon. Thank you one last time to all of you. And I will see you folks back here tomorrow for just a regular old, hey, we did it stream. But until then, goal exceeded, goal reached. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. And have a good night.